This is episode 275 of the Real Me In: A Movie Podcast. On this week's episode, Chase and Joel are joined by their friend Terence as they go over the 2019 summer movie preview. That's right, May, June, July, and August, week by week. What are we looking forward to? What are we not looking forward to? All that and more on today's Real Me In. What is going on, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Real Me In: A Movie Podcast. I'm one of your co-hosts, Chase Lee. It is a pleasure, an honor, a privilege honor that you have chosen this podcast to get all of your movie news, reviews for the week. We just appreciate it ever so greatly. If you are new to the show, welcome. What we typically do is we'll go over some movie trailers and movie news that drop throughout the week. And then we'll have a review or reviews of movies that drop on said weekend that we record. And that's typically how the show goes, but this is going to be a little different. But I'm going to throw it over to my co-host to explain what we are doing this week. Because sometimes we have these kind of off shows where we have like one central thing and this is all we do. So, before I throw over to the co-host and our guest, if you guys could spread this around, share it, like it, subscribe, do what you got to do, and let people know this is your favorite movie podcast. We just enjoy when you guys support the show, and we love doing it for you. So, I don't do this alone because that would just be really creepy to just be talking to my mic by myself in a lone room, no echo or anything. I would go crazy. And so that's why I have a co-host, and that would be Joseph Copling. Coplina, that's what I like to call him, Joseph Coplina. No, it is Joel Copling. Joel, how are we doing this week? We're coming off the heels of Avengers Endgame and Game of Thrones. I think we're all experiencing a hangover right now, and I'm just wondering if you're feeling that too.
Avengers and Game of Thrones.
That's not how it goes, Joel.
Well, I mean, of course, I don't watch the show, but I did hear that it's if you can see the episode, it's pretty amazing. That's what I've been hearing, is that some people have not tuned their TVs and thus have come to the conclusion that it was unwatchable. It's been interesting to follow all of that. Like I said, I don't watch the show, so I looked up spoilers and I found out who all died and all of that. I found out that the Battle of Winterfell, I can't speak today, and the Battle of Hogwarts are exactly matched in terms of number of significant character deaths, which is really interesting to me. And I have to wonder if there's something intentional there in terms on the producer's part, because that was interesting to hear. But anyway, and of course, Endgame, great, had a lot of fun. It's really only been a couple of days since we talked. But, had a good weekend. And I watched Under the Silver Lake last night, that really long-delayed Andrew Garfield movie, which was pretty bad, unfortunately. Other than that, not really much going on. Anything other than the Game of Thrones episode significant happened for you?
No, not really. I saw The Intruder last night. That was a whole ordeal just because theaters are still playing Endgame, and it was packed last night. I had to check in my phone, which, by the way, I'm going to use my platform to complain about something. This is it. If you're going to confiscate our phones for a movie that's high profile, I get it, but why for The Intruder? I haven't had my phone checked in what seems like 3 years, and I had my phone checked for this one. So confused. I was like, I don't think anyone is anticipating spoilers for this one. So yeah, chill, Screen Gems, chill. But I did that last night. I got Ugly Dolls tomorrow at the time of this recording, and then I got Red Joan review coming out this week. So it's a pretty stacked week for me in the review space. Just kind of a so-so start of the week so far. But Joel, I as much as I love talking to you, and we have a good back and forth, it's just always nice to bring in someone else to calm us down, because we like to get really heated at each other and start yelling and cursing and tearing each other down. And so I'm glad that there's someone kind of neutral that we're bringing on that can diffuse all of our arguments. And we have a guest today, right?
We do. Terrence, how are you doing today?
I am doing pretty good. Doing pretty good. Chase mentioned that it's a in-game hangover, and I indeed had a hangover. I saw that movie 3 times in 4 days.
Oh, good
Whoa.
So,
lord.
yeah.
Goodness me,
It's
that's 20. That's not 21. What am I thinking?
like,
That's I was
12
about to say,
hours,
That's
Joel.
21 hours. Yeah.
dude, it
Three
was like
times,
about
so 9 hours out of your
9 hours and like 6 minutes. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
something like that.
like all that came down on me yesterday, Monday. So it was like I spent all day pretty much off and on sleeping. So, but it was worth it because I wanted to see it with a fresh crowd every time. So, but it was worth it though.
Right.
But it kicked
Well,
off
it's
summer. So
right. There we go. It's good to have you on. Of course, your job is to always agree with me. Just so you know.
That is false.
Well,
Your
no,
job
no,
is to
your
ignore
check's gonna
Joel
come
and
in the
agree
mail
with me.
yet, So.
What'd you say? What'd you say, Terence?
None of your checks came in the mail, so like let's pay me unless it's like off, hopefully the checks didn't bounce yet. So I'm still waiting on the thing to hit my bank account.
They're all coming in at the same time.
Okay.
All right, folks. So pretty much this is gonna go as it usually does. We're just gonna go week by week from May to August, and we're gonna alternate months, Chase and I, and obviously we'll give Terrence a lot of platform to talk to. So let's get into it. It's an interesting summer. There's not as many remakes or sequels this summer. Maybe more remakes than sequels actually, which is all very interesting to consider just because of where the summer usually goes. And sometimes they're reboots too. But it's usually remakes. It's at least that I'm scrolling through here. There's some there's a lot of remakes and prequels, more so than sequels. So it's going to be interesting to get into this. And Chase, you're going to start us out with the first week of May.
Alrighty, yeah, it's summer movie preview season, boys. I always love doing this. So let's jump right into it. The first week in May, we have 3 films coming out. God bless them, going up against Avengers Endgame, but here we are. The first one is The Intruder. Now, this one comes from Screen Gems, and it is about a couple is being terrorized by a man who has sold them his house, played by Dennis Quaid. The couple, played by Michael Ealy and Megan Good. There's at least 1 or 2 a year. You know how it goes. I did see it last night, so I won't really comment on it. You can just hear my review, I think, tomorrow. The next movie is Long Shot, and this one comes from Summit Entertainment and Good Universe and Point Grey, which is the Seth Rogen and Evan Goldberg production company. They make a lot of movies together. They still continue to do that, and they have a deal with either Lionsgate and or Columbia. They're kind of all over the place. But Long Shot kind of follows Seth Rogen. He's a journalist, and he spends time with Charlize Theron's character, and she is running for president. And so he's kind of just documenting that, and that's pretty much it. It's just it's from the director of 50-50, Warm Bodies, Jonathan Levine, so it should be pretty interesting. And then the last one for the week is Ugly Dolls. This one comes from Styx Entertainment. Yes, Styx, in their first ever release of an animated movie from Real Effects, which actually has a studio in Dallas, if you guys were curious about that. This one, oh boy. So it is about a little girl and her ugly doll, and she has a bunch of them, and they travel to the other side of a mountain where Uglyville nestles and finds the town of perfection, a place where everyone is perfect. It's got a slew of people that are singers, including Kelly Clarkson, Nick Jonas, Janelle Monáe, Blake Shelton, Pitbull. It's gonna be fantastic. Out of this weekend, it's quite interesting, but I don't really care what I have to say. Terrence, is there anything out of this week in particular? Hopefully, it's the only one that you talk about that looks good.
Honestly, the only thing that honestly looks good, it's Long Shot, because you got Jonathan Levine, you got Seth Rogen, and Charlize Theron, which is also my future ex-wife. But my future ex-wife, I already know it's not going to work out because she's way higher than I am. So, so she's gonna leave me for Denzel Washington or something like that. Who knows? But no, it's like this is a very weak week, honestly, because you got The Intruder. Looking at the trailers, like that sucks. I can really tell it's probably paint by numbers or whatever. Ugly Dolls, honestly, looks okay to me, but it's not a movie that's like, okay, I'm gonna go out and see it on the first day. Long Shot for me is like if I was a betting man, I put more money in that because I trust John Lee Levine and Seth Rogen's. It's funny, so I am indeed for some laughs. So even if it's mediocre, I will probably get laughs out of it, and that's the only thing I can ask for. Like I won't deal with like mind-numbing type of stuff or go into detail about the plot and stuff like that. But if it makes me laugh, I'll probably enjoy it more. So like for me, I think Long Shot is probably the safe bet as probably the best movie to go see. If you have kids, Ugly Dolls, but God help you. But other than that, Long Shot's probably the best shot to go with.
So I mean, like Joel, where is your gauge kind of landing on this weekend?
Ugly Dolls. I'm
Oh,
kidding.
of course
it's not.
it is.
It's no. It's definitely Long Shot. It looks really funny. I mean, the director's solid. I liked 50-50 a lot. I liked Warm Bodies a lot. Those are the two that I've seen. I haven't seen The Night Before. I haven't seen Snatched. I haven't seen The Whackness. I haven't seen All the Boys Love Mandy Lane. But of his two that I've seen, both were really good. And certainly looking forward to that. Definitely that one the most. So Long Shot.
I think
it would definitely get my vote.
Yeah, I think it's safe to say, which is very odd. It's the only one I didn't get an invite for. But out of the three that are coming out, two of them, one of which I have seen, the other one I'm seeing tomorrow, and then the one I'm looking forward to, which I didn't get an invite for, thank you, Lionsgate, is Long Shot. Because Seth Rogen, he's one of my boys. I've been following this guy since 40-Year-Old Virgin and Knocked Up days when I saw those in theaters. I remember one of my favorite stories is when I was a junior in high school. It was 2007, and that summer Knocked Up came out, and we had half days at school. So I remember we went, took like a test or whatever, and we left. And then me and my friends went to go see Knocked Up, and it was one of my favorite movie experiences of that year for sure. So, especially watching it with my group of friends and an old couple in the front. And if you guys have ever seen Knocked Up, there's a pretty extensive shot on a birth scene. And I think they were like appalled or something. They were like, "Oh my God." I'm just like, chill down there. So a very good weekend indeed. But yeah, Long Shot for sure. Can't wait for that. May 10th. Wow. I never thought we would live in a day and age because without revealing our ages, Terence, myself, and Joel, we're around the same age. And so we grew up with Pokemon. And, of course, we had Pokemon, the first movie, and the sequel and whatnot. And we had the TV show and the cards. But I never would have thought in 2019 we would get a live-action Pokemon movie. And it kind of makes me just smile a little bit. So, yes, Pokemon Detective Pikachu, May 10th, coming from Warner Brothers. This one tells a story of a kid who loses his dad. And so we have Detective Pikachu on the case. And this is a hybrid world of humans and Pokemon. It looks like Blade Runner for kids. And I mean that in the best way possible. So you have that one. You have The Hustle from MGM. Didn't know they were still making movies. Thought they went out of business years ago. This one is a retelling of Dirty Rotten Scoundrels that starred Steve Martin and Michael Caine back in the day. But this one is the gender opposite with two women who get tricked by two men, and so they plan revenge against the same ones who wronged them. Sure. The trailer still doesn't make me laugh to this day. And it's really interesting to hear it in an audience when I'm at a theater. I don't think anyone laughs. The next one is Tolkien. This one tells the story of J.R.R. Tolkien from Fox Searchlight Pictures, and this one stars Nicholas Hoult as the title character. And our friend Brian has seen it and given his reaction. It sounds like Nicholas Hoult is going to do some damage, possibly for award season. That makes me excited. And the trailers have looked pretty great. If you don't know who J.R.R. Tolkien is, he's the gentleman who has brought us the Hobbit and Lord of the Rings, and that's as far as I know because I am not that knowledgeable with authors. Sorry. And the last one is a very Yeah, it's a small one for sure. The trailer came out, I think, like last week or something, and it's called The Professor and the Madman. Now, this one comes from Vertical Entertainment, and this one is about the famous professor Sir James Murray, who in 1857 began compiling the Oxford English Dictionary and led the overseeing committee. Who led the overseeing committee, and a gentleman named by W.C. Minor, a doctor who submitted over 10,000 entries while he was undergoing treatment at the lunatic asylum. I just real quick, I saw that trailer. It was whatever, but Terrence, what obviously, The Hustle, right? That's the one you're looking forward to?
Like you said, starting off the summer week, man, summer month, honestly, it doesn't start off pretty good. I might as well just see Endgame again, for the 15th time. But The Hustle, look, I'm not gonna lie, it looks all right, but like you said, it didn't make me laugh. It looks entertaining, but not on the funny side. It looks like it's kind of like stupid fun. Like you said too, is like we are dating. If I say this, we grew up with Pokemon, kind of showing our ages. I have a little gray hair and balding too, so it's like you can tell how. Put it like this: we watched Pokemon when it first came out, so there you go. And like you said too, is like to see a Pokemon movie out in this day and age is like kind of surprising, but then again, not necessarily the way everybody's making movies about everything now. Next thing you know, they make movies about pencils, but. I think Pokemon Detective Pikachu is the only one that's remotely worth watching. Like, I know we have Tolkien, and I know it's going to be blaspheming because of this. I'd never seen none of the Lord of the Rings movies. I mean, I saw 1.5 of them, and I fell asleep on both of them. So it's like half a movie. So it's like I'm not really a big Tolkien fan. I mean, maybe if you're a big fan of Lord of the Rings and Hobbit, the Hobbit movies, this would be a movie for you. But if anything, I mean, if you're a fan of Dirt and Riding Scoundrels, The Hustle will be for you too. If it's good for the females and women in that sense. But Pokemon Detective Pikachu is probably the one to go for this weekend. But it's probably a safe bet to go with that, honestly. I mean, but The Hustle does look entertaining, so I may see that not on the first day, but maybe on the second or third day. But Pokemon Pikachu is probably the best bet for me.
All right, so Pokemon then. I'm gonna say probably yeah. So I'm pulled in a couple different directions here. The two that I can pretty easily shove aside are The Hustle, which, okay, I'll get to that one in just a second. So The Professor and the Madman, which is, I mean, an interesting premise, is also a movie that features Mel Gibson and Sean Penn that's coming out in 2019. I feel like that's not going to go over very well. I'm not super interested in that pairing. They're both pretty problematic people. With The Hustle, okay, so recently I was watching, I don't know if y'all ever watch him on, catch any of his stuff on YouTube, but he gives really good interviews, like big table interviews. Graham Norton over in the UK, really entertaining guy, and he had Anne Hathaway and Rebel Wilson on recently alongside Daniel Radcliffe, who was interestingly promoting another movie we're going to talk about this summer in the summer preview, and they were all talking, and they showed a clip from The Hustle, and everybody was laughing afterward, like the audience, and they were cracking up, and Graham Norton was cracking up, and I didn't crack a single smile. So if that's any indication, I don't think I've seen a trailer for this, but yeah, I don't really care. I never saw Dirty Rotten Scoundrels. Now this is one that I am reviewing, so I will see Dirty Rotten Scoundrels, and I'll do my homework there. So I am reviewing this, but I'm not super interested in that. So the two directions that I'm being pulled in terms of what I am excited for, first is Tolkien, which I'm not a diehard Tolkien fan. I've read the books, I've read even part of the Silmarillion, which is sort of his. Here's what's happening in the background of the Lord of the Rings. Here's what happened in the universe. And it's huge, and it's expansive, and it's amazing. I'm just, I'm more of a J.K. Rowling guy in terms of just where my fandom goes. So I'm interested certainly in something like this, but I feel like from the sounds of it, they went in kind of not as interesting a direction as I would wanted them to go. Um, so I'm gonna have to go with Pokemon Detective Pikachu because it's tied to my childhood. For the few years before I became obsessed with Harry Potter, I was pretty obsessed with Pokemon and Digimon. I kind of went back and forth. I was one of the few, I think, at least in that period of time, that would go back and forth between them. And so I didn't play the games so much. I did play a couple of them because I had a Game Boy, but I wasn't really a gamer at that point. I think that I kind of played that out, and also I mostly had a Nintendo 64, so I was on that. I wasn't on my Game Boy as much as I wanted to be. So, but I did watch the show. I traded the cards and or collected the cards, I should say. I watched the movies, all of that. So I definitely had a history with that. So for pure nostalgia, I think it looks really fun. In kind of in a harmless way. It's not going to change any lives, but I think it looks fun. So yeah, it's kind of a weak weekend, I think, but it's Pokemon Detective Pikachu for me. Chase, did you make a choice?
I mean, if you're going to ask me, what am I going to go see on a weekend that a Pokemon movie is opening? I'm going to see that. I mean, I think people have to realize that
we're reviewing it, so it's not like you wouldn't have anyway, but yes.
Right.
I see what you mean.
We three grew up in that era to where I remember, and this is no joke. I'm not even making a joke. This is how it was. I would go on the school bus in the mornings, and it would look like we're trading drugs in the back of the bus. Like, hey, do you want to trade this card for this card? Like, it was like a black market. That's how intense it got. And I still have my binder and everything. And the fact that this one has more creative flair to it with the neo noir style than Happy Time Murders, which is exactly what I wanted that movie to look like, is really shocking. It's like they put so much more effort in a Pokemon movie than a movie that was pretty much handed with a lot of creativity. But that's another story for another day. The next weekend...
Yeah, Pokemon, by the way, it was shot, and this is going to be interesting to people to hear this. So it was shot by John Matheson. The cinematographer, John Matheson, shot it on 35 millimeter, which is really interesting to bring out 35 millimeter for something like that. And also, this is the guy who shot Gladiator, Logan, Kingdom of Heaven, Matchstick Men, bunch of stuff. And
you had me at Logan.
I mean, yeah, exactly. This thing is going to look great, if nothing else. Like even if it's crap, it's going to look great because Matheson doesn't play around. Even Robin Hood, which I didn't like at all, looked good. And his Robin Hood from 2010, not the one that came out last year, with that Ridley Scott directed with Russell Crowe, looked good. So yeah, it's not going to mess around on a visual front. So anyway, go ahead.
Super stoked for it. Like, I actually cannot wait to actually pay actual currency to go see a Pokemon movie. It's going to be fantastic. The next weekend also has one of my most anticipated of the summer, and I'm going to go ahead and start out with it because it is the first one listed, and that would be John Wick Chapter 3 Parabellum. Besides the hyphenated title, everything else about it sounds and looks great. I do not like that. Just keep it Chapter 3, please. Right. It is from director Chad Stahelski, and he is one of the directors of the first John Wick. And of course, him and his partner have kind of split off a little bit. They each do their own projects, but they're still creative in their own ways, and they also can come together and still make some really cool action films. So it's that's just where their bread and butter is at. This one, if you guys don't know, stars Keanu Reeves. In the first Chapter Wick, sorry if you haven't seen it, group of people come in, kill his dog, then his dying wife left him, and he is an assassin, so he goes and takes out revenge. That's basically it. The second one actually expands upon the world, and he pisses a lot of people off, and a lot of people start coming after him. So the Chapter 3... we have every single, mafia, gang, whatever you want to call it, assassin, all coming after John Wick, and he's just keeping the peace, I guess. But this one stars Lawrence Fishburne, so we have a nice little reunion there. We have Halle Berry, and we also have Angelica Houston, which is fun. And then Ian McShane comes back. Super stoked. I love the first two, and I think the second one's actually even better. It's just a great franchise. And then to get through the rest of these really quickly because I don't care. A Dog's Journey from Universal. Woo! It's the sequel to the 2017 one. All right, moving on. The next one is. Listen, I never saw the first one, so I could care less. But if you saw the first one and it's kind of your thing, then hey, the sequel's coming out. In case you didn't know, the next one is from Warner Brothers. Coming out with 2 in a row. That's pretty ballsy of them. This one's called The Sun Is Also a Star. This one is about a young girl who is a young quantum physics student who on an ordinary day meets a charming young exchange student, and the two quickly form a romantic relationship but must struggle to keep it together in the wake of Natasha's family facing deportation from their home. Natasha being the lady in the case and Daniel being the gentleman. Sure. Hey, it's YA novel season. And then the last one, that is, excuse me. So Terence, obviously, I don't like to air out our messages on air, but I remember when you texted me 2 years ago and you're like, hey man, that, the first one to A Dog's Journey, that was like your favorite movie that year. And I know that people didn't want to hear it, but that's the one you're looking forward to the most, right?
Chase, stop reading my mind. Stop looking at my text messages to you. This is supposed to be private.
Hey man, I'm sorry. I just have to air out this laundry sometimes.
I thought we had a thing going though. I thought it was like a me and you type of thing. Okay, Chase, all right. No, but seriously though, I didn't watch the first movie, and I love animals. Don't get me wrong, but it's like once you see one animal movie, it's pretty much the same thing, So it's like I'm a Homeward Bound guy, so nothing really beats that, honestly. Chase already knows that I'm an action guy, type of guy. Like John Wick Chapter 3, Parabellum or Paralelium, whatever it is. But Chapter 3, it's like that trailer just got to me. Like I love that trailer. And the first movie I liked. I thought it was generic, but again, I like the second one a lot better than the first one. But it's a solid. If this one comes out, it'll be a solid trilogy if it's good. And Keanu Reeves has found his second coming in being in the late 40s, I believe, or maybe not in late 40s, probably in the early 50s. So he's found his second coming into coming to action movies like Tom Cruise and Denzel and stuff. But yeah, John Wick Chapter 3, it's my money. That's taking my money that weekend. The Sun is also a star. Yeah, I'll pass on that. If it's a Netflix type of thing, I'll still pass on it. If it's for free, I'll still pass on it. It's
Wait, hold on. So Terrence just laid out all the options for him. He's just like, listen, here's all the options and all the possibilities that I have. I'm still not going to see it.
No, I'm not. I'm legitimately not. No, and it's one of those those teen young YA things. And look, I like those type of things, but this type of story looks very cheesy and cliche and just I'll pass on that. But yeah, John Wick Chapter 3, honestly, I think it's the one for that weekend. I think it's the only one I believe that will kind of give Endgame a run for his money as far as box office is concerned. Pikachu maybe per se, but I think when you get Endgame out probably by his third or fourth week, John Wick's probably going to give his run for his money. I think a lot of people are going to be in for something more hardcore action and bloody. So I think John Wick Chapter 3 is going to give it to him, and I'm definitely going to look forward to that. So.
And same here. We're in agreement pretty much all the way through so far.
Well, gee, that was quick.
we exactly. Sun is also a star. Okay. A Dog's Journey. I liked A Dog's Way Home, which was sort of the spinoff, but I didn't like A Dog's Purpose, and I don't care about seeing that particular dog's spirit shunted through a bunch of other ones so that we see a bunch of dogs die again. That doesn't interest me. I would rather them go back to the basics of something like A Dog's Way Home, which is where they found what worked about that particular kind of concept. And it actually kind of reminded of Homeward Bound, and both of those movies are good. I like both. Yes, both. So yeah, I don't care. John Wick Chapter 3 Parabellum. What a weird title. I think that we should take after Terence and say the right thing and then replace it with the wrong thing more often. Like John Wick Chapter 3 Paracelsus. John Wick Chapter 3 Purple Beltum. I don't know. Just make up different things. But no, it looks, or it sounds awesome. I haven't seen a trailer for this yet. I'm staying away. I want to be surprised. I've heard that there's some combat on horses or something like that, which, hey, worked in Dawn of the Planet of the Apes or Rise of the Planet of the Apes, one of the Planet of the Apes. So, hey, it works. I can't wait. It looks awesome. I think this series has the potential to just get better because I like the first one. I really like the second one. I have a feeling that this is going to be kind of the Mad Max Fury Road this year, just in terms of the action, pure action. It's total action, and I love it. I don't know if they're going to be able to recreate the ingenuity of the casual silent shootout from up and down different levels of a train station or whatever it was like before, where they're just kind of silently shooting at each other with silencers and not hitting anybody else somehow, and it's great. I don't know if they're going to be able to match that, but I can't wait to see if they do. So that's definitely easily my choice.
Yeah, it's just like what Terence said. It's just kind of fascinating that Keanu Reeves was like DOA for a little while, and then he does the John Wick franchise, and he kind of finds his footing and just kind of peppering himself in like other films. Like he's just like Tom Cruise in the sense of like he's just keeps on going at the age that they are in, and they also do their own stunts, and so it's just something you have to kind of admire. So yeah, easily the winner on that one. All right, the next weekend we have May 24th, and the first one is Aladdin: Papa Smurf's Origins. This one is directed by Guy Ritchie, and it stars Joel, help me out here. Who is the gentleman that plays?
I guess Mina Masood.
Yes,
yeah,
and
Naomi Scott.
Right, yeah. I know Naomi Scott. She plays Jasmine, and of course Will Smith plays wherever that fungal infection is. He looks like the tofu person.
He plays Pennywise the rapping clown.
Right. Yeah, I forgot this was a shared universe with it. So this one's Aladdin. You guys know the drill. We have a street rat person thing stealing stuff. She meets Jasmine. She's, listen, here's the deal. If you grew up in the 90s, I don't need to explain this to you. It is what it is. None of the trailers have won me over, so there's that. The one I am looking forward to this week, and I'm going to go ahead and just blow my load right here, is Brightburn. Now, this one comes from Screen Gems, which means, yes, I will get an invite, but if Screen Gems watches my Intruder review, I may not. So, dang it. All right, so this one is actually written by James Gunn's brothers, and it stars Elizabeth Banks, David Dimon as a couple, and this plays out just like the kind of Superman mythos where, they're a couple on a farm, something crash lands on Earth, they scoop up the baby, and they're like, oh, it's going to, it's superhero, it's going to be a good person. Nope, turns bad. So definitely a horrific spin on the Superman origin story. But when you have the writers of James Gunn's family and you have James Gunn producing it, it's like, yeah, sign me up. And then the last one, which I'm also looking forward to, is Booksmart. Now, this one comes from Annapurna Pictures, and it's directed, debut of Olivia Wilde. And, oh, God, I lost her. Oh, Beanie Feldstein, and I believe it's Caitlin Dever.
Yeah, Dever.
Dever, excuse me. So this one tells the story of them two who are about to graduate high school. They were really, smart in their academics, and they were the top of their class, right? But they never really got to experience high school. They never really got to go to parties or socialize, or, have boyfriends or whatever. So that's kind of what the movie's about, is them kind of exploring the other side of high school, like ironically right at the very end of high school. But it looks really great for sure. But Brightburn easily hands down, but Booksmart very close second. So Terrence, is there, are you more into, the coming of age tale this week? Or are you more into the horror movie this week? Notice how I did not say anything about the Aladdin movie.
You know what, too? I honestly thought that we would have like a disagreement this week would be the first disagreement we have on it, but honestly, we're in agreement. Brightburn, I'm looking forward to it a lot. So, looking at the trailers, it looks creepy as hell, and it's like I love the take on it, and especially if James Gunn's produced it. It kind of reminds me a little bit of Sliver, a movie that he did a few years earlier, and it gives me that. And then it's just the fact that it takes a original turn off Superman, or a dark turn off Superman, or what Superman would be if he was evil. That young, it looks really, really creepy, and I'm looking forward to it. Booksmart, I was not really impressed by the trailers per se, but I know that a lot of people in the film industry that really liked it, in festivals that is, that really said it's really good, like Scott Menzel, stuff like that. But I didn't really laugh at the trailers. I thought usually raunchy comedies are for me, but I just didn't feel the comedic elements that I like to see in a comedy that make me want to go see it. Aladdin, what can we say? I mean, honestly, I thought when I first saw the trailer for Aladdin, I thought it was a parody. I really did not think it was a serious trailer. I literally thought that. And honestly, like, I'm not the biggest fan of Disney remakes. Jungle Book, I think, if you take out the CGI and the visual effects of it, I think it's just an okay movie. The only movie that I think was pretty good as far as the remakes go for their live action was Beauty and the Beast. But overall, I'm not a big fan of the Disney remakes. Honestly, I just like let a classic stay a classic in my opinion. But honestly, I think Brightburn is one of the more intriguing movies that I want to see of the overall summer, because it's sci-fi. It's an off take on Superman, and it's like also a horror movie at the same time too. So you get all those type of elements into it. I want to see what you can bring out of it that's going to be original and be entertaining. So I'm going into Brightburn open-minded and looking forward to seeing it that weekend.
Okay, so I'm gonna break the pattern for the first time, and it's close, but I'm going with Booksmart, based solely on the buzz surrounding the movie. I haven't seen a trailer, so I don't know about that. I'm kind of going with that rather than Brightburn for some reason. But I am, of course, looking forward to Brightburn. Aladdin can go just stuff it. But when it comes to Aladdin, I've been a fan of some of these. I liked Jungle Book a little bit more than you guys did. I liked Pete's Dragon quite a bit. I thought that one did a different thing very well because it wasn't a musical like the original was, and the original had the problem of being a musical because it didn't really seem equipped for that. But I liked that a lot. I thought the Cinderella was good. Beauty and the Beast, no, not a fan. And there have been others, but apparently I blocked them out. But and this just seems like the latest. Oh, well, Dumbo, I totally forgot that I saw that and reviewed it just now. But it wasn't very good. So I don't know. I mean, we'll see. I'm just not excited for it. It looks overproduced and loud and visually noisy in a way that annoys me.
Well, someone brought up a good point. Have you noticed that Guy Ritchie's name has never been on any of the advertisement yet?
Right, yeah, like from the director of Sherlock Holmes or whatever.
Right.
Yeah, which you'd think they'd take advantage of, but apparently not.
There's a reason why his name's not on there.
Right.
You're just like, guys, I don't really like what I made, so can you take my name off of it?
Right. And it's kind of sad that he's not directing, or he's not slated to direct Sherlock Holmes 3, which I would like to see him do, but whatever. Anyway, he does have that Gentleman movie, which has a bunch of freaking people in it, which sounds pretty cool. But yeah, this is the movie we have right now. It just doesn't look good. So that's the one that I'm not looking forward to. But I'm looking forward to these other two. Brightburn sounds like a lot of really, really, really R-rated fun and a really interesting twist on the Superman kind of mythos, which I think is really cool. But I gotta go with the kind of coming of age raunchy comedy. This looks like Lady Bird kind of crossed with you know, the super bad model or whatever, which I think is kind of perfect.
Which is great because Jonah Hill's sister's in it.
Right, exactly. And she was in Lady Bird.
She was in Lady Bird, so.
Yeah. By the way, small correction. The Caitlin Dever character is a lesbian, so she's trying to find girls. But anyway, just wanted to get the record straight there. But yeah, so my choice is Booksmart, but it's a really thin margin between that and Brightburn. I'm very much looking forward to Brightburn. So, yeah. Take that how you will, but my vote is for Booksmart. So
yeah, it's it's a good trailer, and my apologies. Now that my recollection's going through, guys, it's been a long couple weeks, but when I'm replaying the trailer in my head, they're definitely going after women for sure. My bad. So the last weekend in May. Geez, let's just stack them up with 3 heavy hitters because I actually think all 3 of these are going to do well in some regard.
Yeah, this is going to to be a good weekend for the box office.
I'm actually looking forward to all 3 of them, so I'm going to just tell you guys right now, I don't know what to pick. But let me talk myself out. So the first one is Godzilla, King of Monsters. This one's from Warner Brothers. Geez, does Warner Brothers have like 3 movies this month? They're going to cannibalize each other. So this one's from Michael Dougherty, and he actually directed one of my favorite horror films of the past, I don't know, 10, 15, 20 years with Trick or Treat. Love that movie.
I need to see that. I need to see that so badly.
It's a nice little anthology film. It's not even like anthology. It's just like it's a bunch of like small little side stories, but they all come together at the end. I don't know. It's set up in a way you would not expect because when you look at the cover, you're like, oh, this is how it's going to go. And it's like, no, it's different. But, yeah, looking forward to this one quite a bit with the Godzilla franchise. It's the second one. This one stars Kyle Chandler, Vera Farmiga, Millie Bobby Brown, Ken Watanabe comes back, Sally Hawkins, Bradley Whitford, O'Shea Jackson Jr. I mean, it's a stat cast. Then the next one, because Paramount decides to throw out a right hook, I guess. I can't believe all 3 of these movies are going back to back. So this one is Rocket Man, directed by Dexter Fletcher, and he is the post-production director of Bohemian Rhapsody. So that will be interesting to see what he does for a full-length feature now where he is on it from start to finish. And this one stars Taron Egerton as the title character, focusing on... oh my God! Hold on. Elton John. Jeez, I'm losing it. Anyways, it's an Elton John biopic. The trailer looks really great, so can't wait for that. And if it has the same type of effect as Bo Rap did, I think it will strike that chord and be a really successful film, box office wise. But hopefully, it is well received because Bo Rap was not. And then the last film, the last film, which, this trailer is insane. One of my most rewatched trailers of the year, just because I keep rewinding the scenes of when she's going ballistic on the kids. But this one's Ma, and this one comes from Universal and Blumhouse, and it's directed and written by Tate Taylor, and it stars Octavia Spencer as this woman. She kind of comes across these kids at a gas station. They're like, hey, miss, can you buy us some alcohol? She's like, I don't know. And then she does. And then she's like, hey, do you guys want to go party at my house? And then her basement starts to become like the local hub for high school kids to party. And she starts to become a little bit too obsessive with some of the kids. And it looks like she might get super sexual with one of them. She starts like carving people. I'm like, this is bonkers. So, yeah, I'm going to let these 2 gentlemen talk, and then I'm going to kind of think about where I'm going to ping my favorite one. But Terrence, I mean, you're dealing with a sequel to one like a big blockbuster sequel. You're dealing with a musical biopic on one of the best musicians of all time, and you're dealing with Octavia Spencer doing a bat crazy performance. I mean, so where are you going with this?
This is tough, but then not. I want to see all 3 of them in the same weekend. Just matter of fact, who was going to go first. If some of you guys don't know, I'm a huge fan of the original Godzilla in 1998. I know, it's a guilty pleasure thing, but I'm probably one of maybe 2 people that actually like that movie. So I'm a big fan of the Americanized Godzilla movies. So Godzilla has always been part of my childhood. of me growing up, so it's like I have a thing for it. And then the first one that came out, I actually pretty liked because of the size of it and everything. And like I love Octavia Spencer. She can do no wrong. I mean, I fell in love with her ever since Fruitvale Station. It's great. And Rocket Man, that trailer looks amazing. Taron Egerton, excuse me, looks like if I don't know, understand why this movie is being played in the summer. It should be more so towards maybe like the fall. Maybe he can get like an Oscar nomination if possible, because it looks like he's gonna knock it out of the park. But yeah, this is gonna be a tough weekend to go see. But it's gonna be a great weekend for movies in general if all of them are good. But for me, like I like Godzilla King of Monsters because seeing the trailers, it looks epic, looks great, looks fantastic. I mean, the trailers maybe give too much away per se. That's granted, but honestly, like I want to see some destruction. I want to see some action. I want to see Armageddon on a 10th scale, and I want to see it in IMAX big as I can. So, like, I would go with Godzilla King of Monsters. But if anything, if I can't see that movie, if it's somehow sold out, my second would go Ma and then Rocket Man.
So I'm going with Godzilla as well. I loved Godzilla in 2014. Made my top 10. I think I talked about that recently. Whenever we went back over our 2014 favorites, it was my number 10 that year. And this one, interestingly enough, comes from somebody who was not involved in the directing or writing of that movie, and that's Michael Dougherty. He didn't have anything to do with it. But he is one of the more consistent screenwriters of big blockbusters in the summer. I thought that his screenplay and I think he co-wrote both of these, but still, his screenplays for X2 and Superman Returns are excellent screenplays. They have a troubling director, but they're both really good movies and really good screenplays, and I thought that he did a solid job with both. So for him to come back, and I also really like Krampus, which was a really fun holiday-themed horror movie about a Santa-like monster. And I saw that one about a month early. That was really fun. And so I'm looking forward to that in terms of just scale, scope. I think it's going to be one of the best movies of the year, potentially, certainly of the summer. And I really like it. When we go back through and kind of choose our most anticipated of May, I'm pretty sure this is my pick. But it is narrow because Ma sounds really fun. It's another one I haven't seen the trailer for. I think I heard the trailer for it when I was waiting for trailers to end one day. It's the one that I'm probably easiest to part with because Tate Taylor is the director. He made The Help and Get On Up, not remotely similar movies, but also not very good. And Chase, this might help you, or not help. Well, not help you, but might shed some light. He also directed The Girl on the Train. So I don't know if that'll yeah. So Rocket Man, though, I've seen Elton John twice in concert. I love the guy's music. I think he's probably the best lyricist of all time. In terms of the lyrics that he writes, they're probably the most beautiful and poetic. Just read some of his songs, and they are literal poetry. It's amazing. So I'm certainly looking forward to that. I'm a little bit hesitant just because Dexter Fletcher directed Eddie the Eagle a few years ago, and I didn't like that very much. And it was a true story, and it starred Taron Egerton. So he's kind of, but again, you never know. We're working with Lee Hall as the screenwriter this time, and this is the guy who wrote stuff like I think he did War Horse, a few other things. So he's solid. I probably am more excited because of him than anything else, but he's also writing Cats. See how that goes. As for this movie's opening in May, I think it's because of the fact that they don't want to wait too long after the world premiere, which is at Cannes, the week before that, or 2 weeks or whatever. And Elton John is actually going to that. He's going to be at Cannes, so that's pretty cool. They're going to be able to get him there. I think that's why they did it at the end of May like this, so that they could get it out there right after the Cannes premiere. It's very likely. So we'll see. But yeah, right now, absolutely, my pick is Godzilla, just because that thing's that's gonna murder me. I can't wait for that movie. So anyway, that's my choice. Yeah, that's probably mine. That's probably mine as well. So, all right, guys, we're gonna move into June now, and I'm taking over. I'm cowboying this. All right, so the first weekend, I'm gonna cover 4 of these, just to let y'all know. I'm gonna talk about first, though, Dark Phoenix, which has been delayed for a while. This is the next movie in the X-Men franchise, and it's supposedly going to be the final installment in the main series of X-Men films that previously had stuff like X-Men Days of Future Past, all of that. This particular collection of characters, this is going to be the end game kind of thing for them. All right, then there's The Secret Life of Pets 2. Okay, I will tell y'all this. So I saw the first movie, I gave it a good review, and I don't remember a single thing about it. So I couldn't care less about this. I'm not seeing it. Instead, in fact, I'm probably going to be seeing our next movie that we're talking about. Yeah. So the next movie is Late Night. This one comes from kind of an unknown director, but it is written, or unknown in the U.S. In movies at least. It's written by Mindy Kaling, who co-stars, and it stars as a female writer. She's writing a movie in which she stars as a female writer. And she is brought in to help revitalize the late night talk show by the host, played by Emma Thompson. So this is a really cool plot. I think that it's gotten really good notices out of Sundance. Comes from Amazon Studios. They tend to be pretty solid at what they do. It was previously attached to have Paul Feig as director, so clearly the material's there for something with promise, and I can't wait to see that. So, and then the last one that I'm going to talk about has the word "last" in it, and that is The Last Black Man in San Francisco, another big-time Sundance hit, and it comes out the same day. It comes from A24, and this one kind of follows an African-American man who tries to reclaim his home in a district, in the Fillmore district of San Francisco. It's a Victorian house, and I've been hearing really fantastic things about this. It comes from the same producers as Moonlight, not just A24, but also the team of Dee Gardner, Jeremy Kleiner, and Brad Pitt. It's got a great cast. Jonathan Majors, his face is probably recognizable. I don't think he's been in a lot of big things, but anyway, other than that, Danny Glover is in this, Mike Epps, Finn Wittrock, Thora Birch, who hasn't been in anything significant in 28 years. And then also Rob Morgan, who was in Mudbound a couple of years ago. I think. Is that him? Yeah, he was in Mudbound. He's been in some stuff, and he's a really good actor. So excited for that. And in fact, that is my choice for this weekend. I can already say, in terms of the two big likely blockbusters, again, I could not care less about Secret Life of Pets 2. I'm looking forward to Dark Phoenix. I've been higher on a lot of the team-up movies than a lot of people. I've liked every single one of them, in fact, including The Last Stand and Apocalypse. But the fact that this has been so delayed, I don't know. It's like I'm looking forward to it just with a big asterisk next to, I guess, forward in the sentence. But these other two Sundance hits, I'm excited for. I just can't tear myself away from that Last Black Man in San Francisco poster. I haven't seen the trailer, but that that premise suggests a very quiet, very introspective character study, and I do enjoy those. So that's going to be my choice here. Terrence, which direction are you going to go in?
I'm kind of leaning towards your direction per se, but but I agree with you with all you're saying about the movies that are in this weekend. The Last Black Man in San Francisco really, really looks good. I mean, I had a chance to watch the trailer. It reminds me, has a feel of if a Beale Street Can Talk type of feel.
Yeah.
The atmosphere. So I love the trailer when I first saw it. And surprisingly, too, with Late Night, so I was working down on 59th Street on the east side, and I saw it actually filming one of the scenes for this movie. So it was kind of weird, too, because it's like, I knew I recognized the actress, but I couldn't get a good look at her, and come to find out it was that particular movie. But the trailer for that movie looks really funny, and for me, it takes a lot for me to laugh. He has to hit just right for me to like go see a comedy. And Late Night kind of does it for me. And Emma Thompson I like, and Mindy Kaling I like because she was in The Office, so it's kind of like a 6 degrees of separation when it comes to that. Dark Phoenix, I'm like, for me, the X-Men movies have been nostalgia because I grew up with all the X-Men movies. I like some of the trailers. They didn't blow me away, but I'm always skeptical, too, because of Simon Kinberg. Even though he knows the work, he's written some of the scripts and stuff like that, but he's a first-time director, so he's not a seasoned director. So it's kind of like, kind of iffy for me. And plus, like you said before about all the setbacks and delays and stuff like that and the reshoots, kind of like not, pushing me forward to like really be excited about it. Secret Life of Pets, I can care less for it because the first one's kind of like, whatever. So it's kind of tough for me. Overall, it's kind of tough because all these movies that I literally want to see, but one of them, I'm going with Heart versus Mind right here. Heart for Dark Phoenix, but Mind for The Last Black Man in San Francisco. So it's like, I'm gonna go, just to be different, I'm gonna go Dark Phoenix. Second, I'm gonna go Last Black Man in San Francisco, and Late Night as my third of orders I want to see that weekend. But honestly, I'm gonna go with quality for you. I really want to see Last Black Man in San Francisco, but overall, heart-wise, I'm gonna go with Dark Phoenix.
All right, Chase, what about you, sir?
Well, I mean, you guys know I love the X-Men films. I'm kind of like with you, where it's just like it's been doing so many pushbacks and just redos and reshoots. I'm like, I don't even care at this point because it's swallowed up by Disney, and this is gonna be the last one of this particular universe. And I'm hoping for good things, but it's we'll see. I actually never saw The Secret Life of Pets 1, so that will be fascinating to see if this will get crushed that weekend, just because I don't think anyone's even talking about this movie. And the first one kind of has a stain on it anyways, given the main character and the main person providing that voice. So, whatever.
Especially for the people who don't realize that he's been replaced. They might not look into it. And,
right. But I mean...
just assume that he's in it.
Yeah, so. But still, it's just a weird situation. The two I'm looking forward to are definitely the smaller ones. I did see the trailer for both of these, and I like them both for different reasons. Obviously, the Last Black Man in San Francisco, it does kind of have that Beale Street vibe. It's a lot, it's a lot quieter. It's a little bit more ambiance, and it's the feeling that kind of drives that trailer. It feels like it's going to be really powerful, and it looks fantastic. And I love the fact, since he won't do it, I'll do it. Brad Pitt doesn't like to gloat that his production company is behind all these like really great smaller films. I will throw him out there and say, thank you, sir. Thank you for doing this. Thank you for, picking up these things and charging these movies in front of the limelight. It's fantastic what you're doing. And then, of course, Late Night, with Mindy Kaling and, of course, Emma Thompson. That whole story looks funny and heartfelt. And I think it's going to be the biggest indie hit of the summer. I think it's going to have the same kind of power as The Big Sick, and ironically enough, it's the same studio that bought both of those. So we'll see how it goes, but I do think that Late Night will be one of those kind of like breakout hits that no one's even expecting. Is it going to be number one that weekend amongst Dark Phoenix and, of course, all the other previous blockbusters before that? No, but I think it'll have staying power throughout the summer, kind of like the Big Sick Dig, and just has, sold out crowds like throughout the week, and just has like a little, good amount of money each week. Like, that's all that movie needs, and I think it'll do that. But I'm looking forward to that one, and definitely The Last Black Man in San Francisco.
All right, so the next weekend we have three pretty big ones. The first is Men in Black International, and this is a spin-off kind of reboot, whatever, of the Men in Black franchise. It brings together Thor and Valkyrie in an adventure alongside Qui-Gon Jinn. And I forgot her name from The Greatest Showman. Anyway, it's Rebecca Ferguson, Kumail Nanjiani, Emma Thompson again. Okay, fine. So I like the first movie and the third movie. The second movie must never be spoken of. That is jailable by the Geneva Convention. No, I'm just kidding. But I haven't watched a trailer for this, so I don't know how it plays. I don't know what's going on. I mean, okay. In terms of my nostalgia, I would say I'm looking forward to this. In any specific way, I don't know yet. We'll have to see. I guess I won't see, but I'll just see the movie and figure that out. The next one is Shaft, which is a follow-up to Shaft, which was a follow-up to Shaft. Now, okay, so this has gone through a series of really fascinating directors, because you had the original, which was directed by Gordon Parks. He also did Superfly. And then you had the I don't know if he directed the first two sequels that the original Shaft had, but anyway, you had those two, and then you had the Shaft from 2000 with Samuel L. Jackson. That was directed by John Singleton, who just passed away this week. And then you have this one, which is from the director of Fantastic Four: Rise of the Silver Surfer. So make of that what you will. Yeah, I don't know. I don't have any history with the series. I haven't seen anything. I've seen Superfly, but I've heard apparently some sort of, I don't know, cultural comeback of some conversation that claims that Superfly is way better than Shaft. I don't have any opinion on that. I love Superfly. That's about it. So I will see the original Shaft at some point. It's kind of hard to find on physical copy right now for some reason, because I think it only came out in snapper case form, and those are all out of print. But I got to see that, and I'll have to see the 2000 one again. I just as of right now, don't really care about this new one. It's fun that it's coming out, I guess, but Superfly tried to upgrade Superfly, and it didn't really do very well. So I don't know how this is going to do against Men in Black. We'll see. And the last one is my pick, big time, for this week, and that is The Dead Don't Die. This one comes from director Jim Jarmusch. It's a Focus Features film, but it's also a zombie comedy. Yet it also comes from director Jim Jarmusch, who is a very specific kind of director, has a very specific kind of energy. And I'm just telling everybody right now, don't expect Zombieland. This is not going to be even Shaun of the Dead. This is going to be its own thing. It's opening Cannes, and it's in competition at Cannes. So that should give you an idea that it's probably a little more art housey than people are probably going to expect. Nevertheless, it does sound and look and seem like it looks fun from the descriptions of the trailers. It's got Iggy Pop as a coffee hoarding zombie. It's got Bill Murray, Adam Driver, Tilda Swinton, Chloe Sevigny, Steve Buscemi, Caleb Landry Jones, Rosie Perez, Selena Gomez, RZA, Carol Kane, and Tom Waits. I mean, how can that not be my pick? So that's easily my pick. I think it sounds like a blast, and I can't wait to see it. So that is my pick. Terrence, what about you, sir?
Men in Black for me is probably gonna be my pick. I love the trailers for it. Chris Hemsworth is really underrated when it comes to comedy. He really knocks it out the park when it
Fat
comes to
Thor.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So if you've seen that, you know he can handle any type of weight
Best
when it comes to
supporting
comedy.
actor, please, Academy. Anyway,
honestly, he's truly underrated. Even in other movies, I forgot what movie it was. I think it was Vacation with Ed Helms. He had like a cameo in that. He's pretty good in that too.
he was the only good thing about the Ghostbusters movie. That
Yeah.
yeah, he was the secretary or whatever, and he was the eye candy. He was so funny in a movie that is otherwise complete trash. So yeah.
So I mean, I'm glad too that he's actually getting like a leading role as far as comedy, because as you've said before, he's been like cameo stuff like that. So he's actually gonna have a title card to hold his own when it comes to comedy, and it works for him too because he's with Tessa Thompson, who they both did good in Thor Ragnarok. So it's great. Shaft, I haven't seen none of the Shaft movies. Not my thing. Not you can pull my black card, or whatever. But I haven't seen none of it. The trailers look really, really horrible, and like Samuel L. Jackson can carry a movie, but sometimes the movies that he's in that he does carry well, it's not really good.
Yeah, like the Hitman's Bodyguard, he was fine, but it was just the Hitman's bodyguard.
Exactly. I mean, like Samuel L. Jackson can carry weight as far as like he's entertaining in the movies that he's in, but are the movies actually good per se? Not as much. So I'm not.
His default is commitment into whatever he's doing. It's just sometimes, like you're saying, the movie just doesn't really return the favor.
Yeah, it doesn't. It legitimately doesn't. Like I love Samuel L. Jackson, but some of the movies he picks is not really that good. And then Jesse T. Usher, he was in some star show I forgot he was in, but he's not really a good actor, honestly.
Oh, wasn't he in Independence Day Resurgence?
Yeah, he
Oh
is.
God,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, he didn't. His delivery in that movie was less than tired. So yeah. So when you got, and plus you got Tim Story, directors of the Fantastic Four movies. Yeah, that's not a great combination.
He does not direct action well at all. He doesn't know how to handle that. It's bad. Yeah.
When you mix all of that into it, it's like that's not gonna taste well, honestly. So like I'm pretty much gonna skip that. I'll maybe watch it on Netflix if that, but yeah, I'm gonna.
Oh God, he also directed both the ride-alongs. I didn't realize that. Which, oh man, those were bad. So okay.
Look, I didn't even watch the ride-along movies because it looked horrible to me. Like, whatever. But yeah, I'm definitely skipping that weekend. Now I haven't seen the Dead Don't Die trailer, but from what. When you got cast like that, it's always kind of intriguing and see what like you said, the director can do with them. He's very unique and stuff like that. I did like his last movie, Only Lovers Left Alive, I think it was. He did.
So so I totally forgot to do this. Let me read the premise from IMDb here. I mean, Wikipedia. I keep saying IMDb instead of Wikipedia. Okay. In a peaceful small town, zombies suddenly rise from their graves, terrorizing the citizen. 3 bespectacled police officers and a strange Scottish mortician with a love for drag makeup and sword fighting must band together to try and stay alive. The road to survival, however, may be a dead end. So, I mean, come on. Like I said, Jim Jarmusch, he's got a very specific kind of energy. He made a vampire movie a few years ago, and the vampire movie was Only Lovers Left Alive, which is basically a hangout movie with kind of an interesting wasn't entirely successful, I thought. I'm in the minority on that one. I'd give that one like a C+. Everybody went crazy for it. But it's got a very particular kind of hangout vibe that he kind of, that's what he does. And he allows his cast to kind of improv a little bit. Not to say that he's an improv comic or that he works with improv comics a lot. I'm not talking about that kind of thing. I'm talking about more in the line of the director Mike Lee, who basically puts his actors through an improvisational workshop to try to build characters through the moment. Now, I don't think that Jarmusch is as much like that. I don't think he's as improvisational, but he kind of allows them to vibe on set rather than fully following a screenplay. From what I've heard, he doesn't have a lot of dialogue in his screenplays. So,
yeah, because even Only Lovers Left Alive, it had some like less dialogue to be desired too. Yeah. So, and I enjoyed that. So
yeah. So it'll be interesting. It'll be
Yeah,
interesting.
definitely will. Definitely will. So I mean, Men in Black International is I'm going for that one. But
Okay.
Dead Don't
Okay.
Die, is interesting. So, but Men in Black is my thing that weekend.
All right. Chase, are you going in my direction?
Yes. And I
Okay.
actually think, believe it or not, if Late Night is not the biggest independent hit of the summer, this is. And I will tell you why. The Alamo Drafthouse, which I go to pretty frequently, both times I went to the Avengers films this weekend because I went 2 separate days. I was like, okay, maybe it was just an opening night thing. Maybe they'll change up the trail. Nope. They have The Dead Don't Die and the biggest, the biggest little farm, that documentary. Both of those trailers played in front of it. And
Nice.
if you have 5 showings a day and you pack them out to hundreds and hundreds of people and you're getting eyes on these smaller films, that is going to do some huge business if people are interested in. So I'm really hoping that Focus Features has a bona fide hit on their hands because of the Alamo Drafthouse, because that would be pretty great. But it's also my favorite trailer out of all 3 of these. It just looks really funny, that kind of like dry type of humor. I always love that. It looks really funny. Men in Black International, I mean, I'll see it. I'm going to get an invite to it. I'm going to go watch it, but I'm not like looking forward to it. But I will admit that, even if you are a curmudgeon and you hated Thor Ragnarok, you cannot deny that those two have brilliant chemistry together. So, just seeing them two kind of interact and fighting aliens and wiping people's minds, it could be fun, and we'll see. And for Shaft, I can't believe a trailer came out because I already forgot about it. I honestly can't remember a dang thing in the trailer that was released. What was it, like a month or 2 ago? I couldn't tell you. And when I remember watching it and not really being impressed anyways, so sure.
All right. So 2 for Dead Don't Die, 1 for Men in Black. All right.
Oh, Joel,
So
I can't
then
wait. Oh, Joel, get to the 21st.
the next
Get to the
weekend,
21st.
Ooh.
the next weekend has 2 of the same movie opening. And in fact, MGM totally went with this with their marketing today. Or I think it was today. It was within the last 48 hours at least, and it was a poster of one of these movies that utilized a dead character from the other one. So it's really fun. The first one is Toy Story 4. The dead character was Woody, voiced by Tom Hanks, and this one follows them trying to take care of Bonnie, who is I think her name is Bonnie, the girl that they were left with at the end of the last movie. And she has created a toy out of a spork, and that spork is basically kind of going through an existential crisis. Meanwhile, it turns out that Bo Peep, voiced by Annie Potts, is actually alive, so to speak, whatever that version is for a toy, still around. And they kind of go after her. They have to choose. I don't know. I haven't seen a trailer. That's what I'm gathering. So, yeah, I think that this series should have ended with Toy Story 3 because it was amazing. I'm not sold on this. Not sold on this. All right, so then the next one is Toy Story 5, Child's Play. This was the aftermath, the bloody aftermath of Chucky coming in and killing Woody. No, I'm just kidding. All right.
But imagine that though. That'd be
be great. No, this one basically is kind of a redo of the old one. A kid has a toy, and it's voiced by Mark Hamill, and it's a psychopath. I'm assuming they kept the whole possessed by a serial killer thing. It's got Aubrey Plaza, Brian Tyree Henry, Tim Matheson out of nowhere. Yeah, I haven't seen the trailer. I've seen the first one like years and years ago. I think I have vague memories of it, and I don't really care. I mean, okay, so my choice is Toy Story 4. Let's move on. What is your choice, Terrence?
Same here. Toy Story 4. Like even though like you said, like I don't know why this is being made. I thought Toy Story 3 was perfect ending to everybody's story. And looking at the trailers for Toy Story 4, it looks like it's like rehashing 1, 2, and 3. But when you got that over Child's Play, which I didn't like none of the Child's Play movies, I'll take Toy Story 4 or Child's Play any day of the week. So
we're about to have a cage match between Terrence and Chase because Chase loves all of the Child's Play movies. So Chase,
okay.
what is your choice here?
Okay, so I know you think I'm going to go with Child's Play, which if I wanted to pick one,
So he's going with Child's Play, and
listen, if I wanted to pick one that I'm actually looking forward to, it's probably that one just because I want to see what they do with it. But let's be real, it's Toy Story 4. I mean, Toy Story 3 was. I mean, I didn't want a Toy Story 4, but 3 was a perfect button on the 3 films and that storyline. First time I cried in my 20s because number 3 came out in 2010. I was 20 years old that year. I remember going to the theaters, watching Toy Story 3 and bawling like a baby, and I still do at the very end, and that includes the incinerator scene. From that point on, it kills me every single time, and there's no freaking way that film that we saw in theaters was played in front of the MPAA, and they're just like, yeah, this is rated G for general audiences. No way. It's emotional scarring for everyone of every age, so I don't understand that. But if we're talking about quality and being a sequel to one of the most beloved animated franchises of all time, I'm going Toy Story 4, but I am still just curious out of my mind on how they're going to do Child's Play and what kind of counter programming it's going to bring, because Joel and I have been talking about this for weeks, and I can't believe they did it today and dropped that poster of Child's Play and putting both of them together. I knew they were going to do it. Those producers are not dumb, and so I just want to know like what the obviously, Toy Story 4 is going to make way more money, but I'm actually curious to see what the balance is going to be like. We have an R-rated slasher film that involves a toy. We have a G-rated film that involves toys. So, yeah, it's going to be fun to watch, but Toy Story 4 will be my pick.
All right. So the last weekend, I was almost tempted not to do this, but just because that's the week we're going to be doing our year, halfway through the year episode. Whatever. The first one is Annabelle Comes Home. Okay. Cool. Welcome home. This, of course, is the new movie in the Conjuring universe. It's a follow-up to Annabelle and Annabelle Creation. I mentally clocked out of this franchise about 30 minutes into Annabelle, so I have no thoughts. I also have no thoughts, and I'm just going to bring up this one first. 47 meters down, Uncaged. They were totally cowards. They didn't go with 48 meters down. I'm very, very, very disappointed with that because that was the original title. I didn't see the first one. I know Chase was kind of a semi-fan in a dumb way of it. But Johann Roberts directed The Strangers Prey at Night. That was pretty good. So I don't know if that changes anything. And the other one, and this is kind of automatically my pick, and I actually think like it sounds like a pretty cool movie. And that is Yesterday. This one is about a young man who wakes up suddenly in a universe in which the Beatles and their music no longer existed, except that he's a super fan, so he sings them a lot, and people think that he wrote the songs. And it's pretty interesting. I mean, it's a weird premise, very weird premise, but I'm excited to see how it comes together. Danny Boyle's the director. This is obviously sort of light Danny Boyle. In terms of his style, I can't imagine this is going to look like 28 Days Later.
Oh God!
Yeah, suddenly you see Cillian Murphy running down the street,
naked with a zombie bite.
Yes.
Wow.
Anyway, yeah, that's my choice automatically. Terrence, what are you thinking here?
Same here. This is kind of like, honestly, if I had to have a gun to my head, it'd probably be Yesterday. The movie, not yesterday, the actual day. But
He didn't like yesterday, guys. Yesterday
I
didn't go
really
well for
didn't
him.
like yesterday. It's Monday, and it's like, I hate Monday. So, oh no, but Annabelle Comes Home, like whatever. Like I only saw like Annabelle Creation, and I hated that. I hated that movie. I thought it was like really trash. 46 or 47 meters down, the original one. Like I kind of like it, kind of how like Chase did. I thought it was fun for what it was. Like it turned my brain off a little bit, but I enjoyed it for what it was. And it's like I'll watch it again if it was on TV or whatever. But yesterday, is it the premise that like I'm really eager to go see? No, but out of the choices that we have out here, it's the best one that like I have to go see. So. And plus, it's directed by Danny Boyle. He's a pretty cool director. So yesterday's probably going to be my pick for that, out of by default, honestly. So,
Chase.
Oh, gee, I wonder which one. Yes. Is it a known fact on the internet verse that I liked 47 meters down for what it was? Yes, because it does utilize really great underwater cinematography, and it has some really great pacing, given the fact that we are stuck below water for most of the movie. I am a little disappointed that they didn't go with 48 meters down. It's kind of stupid. Call it 47 meters down, uncaged, unleashed. It's like, no. What is this, 1997? And then also, I'm still perturbed that this studio is still in business because I think they're still laundering money. The Entertainment Studio Motion Pictures, or whatever the heck they're called, they're the ones releasing it. But yeah, I'll be curious. It doesn't have my girl Mandy Moore in it, which makes me cry a little bit. But it does have Nia Long, so pretty good switch, I would say. Annabelle Comes Home. Interestingly enough, I did not see the first one, but I didn't mind Annabelle Creation. I thought it was fine for what it was. It was also directed by Mike Flanagan, which brought us. The Haunting of Hill House, Hush, a bunch of other kind of Gerald's Game. He did a lot of great films for Netflix, but he did that one. I really liked it for what it was. But this one, it's going to tie into the whole Conjuring universe, definitely more so because they have Patrick Wilson and Vera Farmiga in the cast, so they're going to bring in the Warrens in some way, shape, or form. But I could care less. And then yesterday, the trailer, I think the trailer looks solid. I'm not like jumping up and down to see it, but out of the three, this is definitely the winner. It'll definitely be a different Boyle that we're going to get, but I think that's great. That's why Boyle is one of the best, because he can make something, like 28 days later, then flip around and do something like 127 hours, and then flip around and do something like Steve Jobs. It's just like they're all three different in tone and structure. It's kind of incredible. So, yeah, we'll see how it goes, but yesterday should be definitely the best one of the week.
All right, so we're going to pause real fast to do something that we forgot to do, which is Chase. What is your most anticipated of all of May?
Ooh, all of May. That is a tall order, sir. I'm fighting between... It's either between John Wick 3 or Godzilla 2, and it kind of makes me furious that I have to like strike one. But if I had, if you were to tell me like you cannot see any movie in May except for one, which one are you going with? And unfortunately, I have to. Oh my God! I think I might have to axe Godzilla 2, just because we're too deep in John Wick, and I need to see the third one. And so,
all right, so Chase has been fired.
So I have not been fired. That is just how it goes. But yeah, I think it's weird, man. Yeah, I think by a slight margin, I'm gonna have to go John Wick 3, and I already know you two are gonna give me looks, and you're gonna have to go with Godzilla 2. So,
you going with Godzilla, Terrence?
Yeah, I'm going with Godzilla.
Okay.
Yeah.
So am I. So am I. We're the right ones. We're good. All right. So I totally forgot. Dropped the ball on that. I apologize, folks. Now, Chase, what would you choose for June?
Oh, June. that one's a little easier, but still torture. I mean, we got the Last Black Man in San Francisco. We have Late Night, The Dead Don't Die, Child's Play. If I had to just do one, I'm gonna step aside the blockbusters on this month since I did that for. Well, I mean, John Wick 3 is not really a big blockbuster, but I'll still go with. You know what? I think I'll do The Last Black Man in San Francisco because I think it's like a three-way tie between that one, Late Night, and Dead Don't Die. And I think if that one can deliver another, like, if Beale Street could talk situation, I think we're in good hands. So I'm going to go with that one.
I'm going to surprise people. I'm going to go with The Dead Don't Die. I can't wait to see how that turns out. So that's just edging out Last Black Man in San Francisco. Terrence, what about you?
I'm actually gonna go with my heart this time rather than logic. Like, me and my mom have a thing about seeing all the X-Men movies together. So I gotta keep up the tradition. So it's like I'm looking forward to just because see how it actually is. So I'm gonna go with Dark Phoenix, honestly.
Wow. All right.
I know. Shoot me now.
If it's bad, Terrence,
Right,
I'm gonna egg you on.
So Terrence has been fired. I'm just kidding.
I know. I'm sorry.
With you, Terrence.
Oh.
All right, Chase, take it away with July, sir.
Okay, so you already did yours, right?
Oh, did I? I didn't. Oh yeah. Okay, so Godzilla for May, Dead Don't Die for June. I think I did. I think I had said that. Okay, so yeah,
Okay, then.
take it away with July.
Okay, so the opening in July is kind of weird because here in the States, I know we have a lot of foreign listeners. So in the States, we have July 4th, and that is a holiday over here, and so that is on a Thursday. So a lot of films are opening up either Wednesday or Tuesday, actually, and not that Friday. So this is kind of weird, but this is how it's set up right now. So on July 2nd, which is a Tuesday, we have Spider-Man Far From Home, and I'm going to go ahead and just group up both of these together. And then the next day on the 3rd is Midsummer. So Spider-Man Far From Home, as you guys know, comes from Sony. Director John Watts is back to do the sequel. Tom Holland comes back as the title character. And then, of course, for Midsummer, you have A24 director Ari Aster, director from Hereditary, my favorite film of last year, so you know it's going to be dope. This one's kind of tough. I'm not going to lie. It's tough for this reason. Because we have finally seen Endgame, and I'm curious to see how they're going to do Far From Home now. And then also Midsummer because of the whole Hereditary aspect. And believe it or not, I am proud to say I have seen the trailer for Midsummer. I have not seen anything Far From Home. And you're probably thinking to yourself, did they not play a trailer in front of like Captain Marvel or Shazam or Hellboy or even Endgame? Nope. Every single time I've gone to one of those movies, I have missed it. I don't know how, but I have missed it every single time. And I'm just like, there's some good luck on my side because I feel like I would have been spoiled at some point, but I've only seen pictures from the trailer and like some of the EW pictures, but that's about it. So yeah, this one's kind of tough for me, but I'll go ahead and stew on it for a little bit. Terrence, given the fact that you have seen Endgame now, and Spider-Man's on the horizon, and then of course, Midsummer from director of Hereditary. I mean, two completely different movies, but where is your mind at?
Oh, honestly, it's a very I don't even know honestly to even tell you. Like you said, you got Midsummer, Hereditary. Hereditary honestly was fantastic. It's one of my top 5 movies of last year. Spider-Man Far From Home, I like Tom Holland as Spider-Man, and after seeing Endgame, you want to know what's going to happen next in the MCU. So it's like it's tough. It's tough though. Oh my goodness. Daggone. Because when you think about it too, like Midsummer, it looks like it's one of those type of movies, gets invested in those layered type of movies. On the other hand, Spider-Man's like a fun popcorn type of movie that you want some blockbuster to be. So it's like wow. Can we just call it Spider-Man Far From Midsummer? Or than call it like that? Oh my goodness. Like I'm leaning towards. Daggone. You know what? honestly don't know. I'm a lean towards Midsummer, honestly, just to be different. Because I went with Godzilla, and I went with other action movies. Over 2 months, so I'm gonna go with Midsummer.
I think it's also because of the in-game hangover. It's just like, let's take a breather for a little bit, and so maybe that's kind of why we were thinking that.
Yeah, you kind of need that. You need to change the pace a little bit. So I'm probably gonna go with that too, because like Midsummer is like Ari Aster, Hereditary. It's like I need to change the pace a little bit, so I'm gonna go with that. But it's not an easy choice to go. But yeah.
Yeah, that's where I'm leaning to. I'm going with Midsummer. I don't know much about it, and I don't know anything about Far From Home because we haven't watched the trailers. So, yeah, I'm going with Midsummer and also because Ari Aster, I mean, he's going places. And the cast here is really cool. Florence Pugh, Jack Rayner, Will Poulter, William Jackson Harper from The Good Place. This is going to be an interesting thing to see him in. He plays Chidi on that show. And, yeah, really good actor. So, yeah, that's what I'm going with. I'm obviously excited for Far From Home for whatever it gives us. I don't know what it's about beyond the fact that I guess he's fighting Jake Gyllenhaal, but I don't know that, so don't tell us, Terence. But yeah, that's obviously I'm excited because I loved Homecoming, but again, haven't seen a trailer, don't know anything about it, even a premise. So let's wait and see for sure. But Midsummer, I mean, again, the firepower behind that is undeniable. So Chase, have you made a decision?
Yeah, I think I gotta give Aster some credit, and I mean, listen, Hereditary was my favorite film of last year, so I kind of have to go with this choice, and it's probably because I just saw Endgame twice, 2 or 3 days ago, and I am on a bit of a hangover, so I kind of need a little bit of a break. But I'm excited for both. But I think this kind of like daytime horror that he's playing with, like the very like overexposed shots, done on purpose, not because it's crappy cinematography, but kind of these overexposed shots, kind of focusing around this like summer camp, and it looks like it's gonna be cult related, kind of like Hereditary. So yeah, I'm all down for it. So the next weekend is the 12th, and we have 3 films. The first one is Stuber. This one comes from 20th Century Fox, a.k.a. Disney Fox. And this one stars Kumail Nanjiani as an Uber driver, and he's just kind of going along his day, doing his Ubering shifts. And then Dave Bautista gets in the car and just like, drive me to this place. And he is a cop, and he's needing him to assist him in driving to this location so he can complete his police job. And so, yeah, you have that one. And then you have one from Paramount and Ghost House Pictures, which we have not seen anything from them since I think Don't Breathe. So it's been a while for them. That is Sam Raimi's production company. But this one is directed and written by Alexandra Aja, right, Joel?
Yeah.
Aja, yeah.
Alexandre Aja, yeah.
Aja, yes. I've been a huge fan of that gentleman's work since, he did the Hills Have Eyes remakes, and he also did High Tension, which is a really great French film, which makes sense because that's where he hails from. But this one is, pulling up the plot here, sorry about that, is about a young woman.
Piranha 3D. I didn't realize that.
Oh my God, I completely forgot he did that.
Yeah, I like that movie.
That one's a lot of fun. The sequel, no thank you. Yes, I saw both in 3D. So this one, Crawl, is about a young woman who becomes trapped in a flooding house during a Category 5 hurricane and must battle against Florida's most savage and feared predators. It sounds great. I'm a fan of this guy's work, even when he makes some garbage movies. I always like his perspective on horror, so gimme. And the last one is a trailer we just got, as well as Stuber. And this one comes from Styx Entertainment, and it's 21 Bridges. Now, this one is directed by Brian Kirk and written by Adam Mervis. So, no, it is not written and directed by the Russo brothers. They only produced it, so please stop saying that. But, yes, they are using their clout to push it, which is a good thing. But it stars Chadwick Boseman, and he plays an officer who, something kind of happens to him, and he kind of like does everything in power to write his name back into good standings. And it also stars J.K. Simmons, which is perfect because he's great at playing these kind of law enforcement roles. You have Sienna Miller, Taylor Kitsch. It's a really good cast. And I'm going to go ahead and just say it right now. Until I can see a trailer for Crawl, it sounds interesting, but I got to go with 21 Bridges because if the slightest bit of audience can see 21 Bridges from Black Panther, then this movie's going to do really well, and I hope Chadwick Boseman finally finds some success because he's a great actor. He always has been, but his movies pre-Black Panther have not done well, so I hope this does it, and it does look like the better one. So sorry for blowing my load on that one, but Terrence, out of the three here, which one are you looking forward to?
This is tough too because honestly, I didn't see none of these trailers. I mean, I saw it in my YouTube feed about 21 Bridges, but I haven't looked at it. Stuber, I've heard people talk about and stuff like that, and Kamuni Nanjiani did really good with The Big Sick, so it's like, kind of tough. But like honestly, I'm just going by cast alone. Chadwick Boseman, like you said, is a great actor, and I love J.K. Simmons ever since Whiplash and a little bit in Spider-Man. So just because it's more of an action type of thing, and comedy could be iffy for me when it comes to Stuber. Even though you got good actors in that, I'm going to go with 21 Bridges because it's more of a safe bet for me because of the acting and the actors involved, and plus it's an action movie. And usually more times than not, it doesn't disappoint me as far as me being entertained compared to an action comedy. So I'm going to go with 21 Bridges just because based off how I feel about normal movies as in general. So
I'm breaking off and being different and saying Stuber. And I think that Chase knows why. I'm going with this because of the director, and I think that he's one of the more kind of underrated directors. I really like Take Me Home Tonight back in 2011, his movie with Topher Grace, Anna Faris, Dan Fogler, Teresa, what's her face? Teresa Palmer, there we go. Or as I like to call her, Kristen Stewart. And he also did What If with Daniel Radcliffe and Zoe Kazan, which was really charming and funny. Adam Driver was in that. Mackenzie Davis, Rafe Spall. He works with really good actors, and he makes really good movies that not enough people see. I hope that this is not swallowed up in July because it comes right after Spider-Man, right before The Lion King. So hopefully we're not looking at another Michael Dowse directed flop. But in any case, it also has Iko Uwais from the Raid movies. It's got Mira Sorvino, Karen Gillan. I can't wait. I think that Natalie Morales, she's amazing. So I'm stoked for this. It's another one, going to be released by Disney. So anyway, that's my choice. So I guess I'm the only person going with Stuber.
That is correct. I'm not saying I'm not looking forward to it, but if I had to go in order, it'd be right now 21 Bridges, Stuber, and then Crawl. Just because I haven't seen a trailer for Crawl or anything, but yeah.
Meanwhile, I'm going to ask you to do something real fast. Okay. Wait, because our next weekend only has one movie.
Right.
So let's pair that out of nowhere because of the fact that there's another thing here that's isolated by its release date with another movie at the end of the month. Okay? We're going to have to basically, it's just kind of a weird thing. We're going to say, what of these two movies, so go ahead and cover that other movie as well. What of these two movies are you looking forward to the most? Do you know what I'm talking about?
Okay, so you want to do the next one, which is Lion King, and then the last one of the month, which is You Know What?
Yes.
Okay, well, thank you for putting those two together. Gee, I wonder which one's going to win. So the next weekend, in the second movie I'm going to mention, does not come out this weekend, but who cares? Like Joel said, you kind of want some choices. And so the next one that actually does come out on the 19th is The Lion King. Yes, Disney at that point will have pumped out 3 of them in 1 year. That is insane to me. Directed by Jon Favreau, who brought us The Jungle Book, and of course did the first 2 Iron Man movies and some other films before that. Like he's very prolific in this industry, and he's really kind of found a home at Disney, and good for him. But this one has a stacked cast with Donald Glover, Chiwetel Ejiofor, Billy Eichner, Seth Rogen, Beyonce, James Earl Jones, Alfred Woodard, John Oliver, Eric Andre, Keegan-Michael Key. It is just downright insane. But if you don't know the story of The Lion King, you have, oh my God.
It's Hamlet.
Oh, it's Hamlet. Hamlet with animals, thank you. Yes. So you have Simba, who is the son of Mufasa, and he's supposed to be the next one to take over. But, of course, something happens when his Uncle Scar decides to be a huge a-hole and pushes Mufasa off of a cliff and kills him. And so now Simba grows up with a talking warthog and a meerkat, and they have an adventure. And if that sounds like I drop some acid, there you go. That is the premise. But no, it's based on the animated film that came out in the 90s, once again, competing with Aladdin and Dumbo, Little Mermaid, all these ones that are coming out in live action form. And so, but this isn't really live action. It's all CGI, but it's photorealistic animation, and it is looking creepy. So yes, that one comes out the 19th, and the one that Joel wanted to pit it against, because he is a diabolical genius, is it comes out on the 31st of July, and that would be Paramount's second shot in the foot, because the first one is Sonic. Paramount just loves to do this to themselves. Is Dora and the Lost City of Gold. It looks awful. It's based on the show. I don't watch it. The cast is baffling. You have Michael Pena, Eva Longoria, Danny Trejo, Benicio del Toro. Why? You have Nicholas Stoller is one of the co-writers, and he's one of the guys that brought us like Forgetting Sarah Marshall and Get Him to the Greek, Neighbors 2. You have James Bobbin who's directing it, and he did the second Muppets movie. It's why are these people involved? It just
and the second Alice in Wonderland movie,
right?
too.
Exactly. Isabella Moner is it's Dora the Explorer. Do you really think that we have a lot to say about it? So obviously, Lion King is the winner. And if you were to ask me which one looks better out of the three that Disney is pumping out, it is this one. It has always been this one. I still haven't even seen Dumbo yet. Don't really need to. Given Joel's recommendation, I'll just wait for it. Don't care to see Aladdin, but if I had to pick one, Lion King is the winner. So, Terrence, obviously it's not the Lion King, correct?
Obviously. No, I find it funny too, because when Joe paired him up, reminds me of the Long Shot trailer when they talked about how would people feel about if Kate Middleton dated Danny DeVito, and it's like like that. So that's exactly how I feel about that. So Lion King and Dora the Explorer is like, yeah, that's Lion King's an easy one. Even though I'm like, you can't, the animated movie for me, my personal opinion, is the best animated movie ever. You can't remake perfection, but with Dora the Lost City of Gold, compared to that, yeah, Lion King hands down. Enough said. Nothing for me to even add to. So
it's Lion King for me, but maybe a little narrower than I would like to admit. Just because I don't really care about it. I think you can stick with the original, which is already animated and already brighter and more pretty. Dora sounds awful.
Looks awful too.
And it looks, that's what I've heard. It's weird. So you said that Nicholas Stoller is one of the screenwriters. The other screenwriter is a guy named Matthew Robinson. Now, the last thing he did was Monster Trucks. He wrote that.
Oh, good Lord.
Yeah. Or it was based on, it was based on a story that was developed by him or something like that. So, but he also, the last time he directed a movie, I actually kind of liked, and it was The Invention of Lying. Out of nowhere, that's the guy who's the co-screenwriter on Dora and the Lost City of Gold, and I can't reconcile that, but whatever. Anyway, yeah, I mean, it's The Lion King semi-narrowly. Obviously, based on the cast, way more so, but it just, again, I'm having a really hard time carrying.
Yeah, it's very awkward type of animation, and the photorealistic look of the animals is absolutely terrifying.
Yeah, particularly because it's not from it's from a screenwriter who's had better days, but hasn't had them in a long time. Um, the Jeff Nathanson wrote the last Pirates of the Caribbean movie. He wrote Rush Hour 3 and Rush Hour 2. And I'm a fan of Rush Hour 2, but I don't like Rush Hour 3. But I mean, again, he wrote Catch Me If You Can, so it's whatever. I guess we're a long way from For Better or Worse and Speed 2 Cruise Control in terms of him, but whatever. All right. So that was. Oh no, we got one more weekend. Sorry.
Yes, the last weekend, and obviously to once again blow my proverbial load again. Definitely contains my favorite movie of the month, hands down. I don't want to talk about it anymore. It is obviously Wish Dragon. No, I'm gonna go ahead and get that one out of the way first. This one is an animated film from Sony Pictures Animation, and the plot goes as follows. It is about a boy that befriends a dragon that grants wishes. So basically, it's like Pete's Dragon meets Aladdin meets I don't know what they're doing. But this one, stars Jackie Chan. Plays one of the voices. Constance Wu, John Cho, Jimmy Wong. A very, very good cast indeed. And honestly, from the looks of it, it doesn't look bad as counter programming. But guys, we're all here for one thing and one thing only. It's Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, which also is from Columbia, so they're going to sabotage themselves. That makes no sense to me. Written and directed by Quentin Tarantino, stars Leonardo DiCaprio as an act. He's the one that's the actor, right? Brad Pitt is his stunt double.
Mm-hmm. Correct.
Right.
Yes.
And then this one takes place around the same time as the Manson murders, but that's not what the central focus is. It's mainly about Tinseltown in that era. Margot Robbie plays Sharon Tate. Al Pacino's in this. Emil Hirsch, Damian Lewis, Mike Moe.
Yeah, he's the one who plays
Bruce Lee.
Yeah.
And then you have Bruce Dern, Scoot McNairy, Dakota Fanning, and even all the way down to his last film role, Luke Perry. So obviously we've had a teaser for this. We haven't had a full trailer yet. I'm assuming Columbia will probably drop a full trailer probably in June, to be honest with you. Let some of the other bigger stuff die down first and then ramp it up in the last month. But yeah, that's
Men in Black all out of nowhere, probably with Men in Black.
Right. I mean, they're going to put it with their own films. I'm so excited. Definitely getting an invite to that one. So probably most anticipated out of that list. But yeah, winner of the month, winner of that weekend. I need to say no more. If there's a Tarantino movie coming out, I will always pick it. But a close second would be Midsummer for me. But I'm jumping the gun. Terence, obviously, Tarantino.
And yeah, I mean, Terence, if you want to give what your favorite of the month and whatever you can at the end, since we're done with the month.
No worries. Yeah, I mean, obviously, it's Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Look, Quentin Tarantino, it's when he ever comes up with a movie, same thing with Scorsese. It kind of comes up like an event film, especially with Tarantino, because he only does movies every 3 or 4 years per se. So whenever he comes up with a movie, people have to go see it, and I'm like drawn to it. Like, all his movies are great. I love the scripts. I love everything. And when you got a cast like DiCaprio, Brad Pitt, Margot Robbie, Al Pacino, Emil Hirsch, and a boatload of others, what's not to be excited for compared to Wish Dragon, which whatever. I don't even know what that is. So, obviously, like, you have Lion King, you have Spider-Man: Far From Home, you have Midsummer, all movies that I'm really looking forward to. It's going to be a stacked month. But I'm going to go with Once Upon a Time in Hollywood just because I love Tarantino. I love the whole cast and everything. Midsummer comes a close second because it's original. But Once Upon a Time in Hollywood just because of the originality of it compared to Spider-Man: Far From Home because it's a comic book movie or whatever. I can see that anytime. But Once Upon a Time in Hollywood is one of those movies that, since they marketing at it as Tarantino's ninth film, so it's one of those movies that you don't want to miss. I'm gonna go with that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just gonna echo you guys. It's my pick for the week and the month. It's Tarantino, and his movies are always events for me. Pulp Fiction really changed my life and perspective on screenwriting in a big way. And I know that sounds very film bro-y to say that, but sometimes it's just true. I love this cast. I love the premise. I love the concept. I can't wait to see all these actors together. It's such a strange cast when you break it down person by person. I mean, DiCaprio, Pitt, and Pacino kind of fit together because of their stature, but I mean, and Margot Robbie's really good, but it's an interesting choice compared to the others. Bruce Dern is really interesting compared to Pacino. Having Lena Dunham in here is really weird. Luke Perry, obviously R.I.P. Can't wait to see him again in something. Dakota Fanning's in this, so I can't wait. I'm super excited for everything about this. Yeah, it's my pick of the month. All right, so folks, I'm going to do a similar thing that I just did and just had Chase do. And because there is a movie currently on the schedule that is no longer on that schedule, if that makes sense, and that is The New Mutants, we are not talking about that movie. Disney announced that it's no longer on the schedule for this year, and so we can assume that it's being retooled or just shelved entirely. So we can't talk about that. But there is a major release that I'm going to pair with the last film in the summer. Because again, I'm a genius. I'm an evil genius, and Terence and Chase are probably about to start laughing. So first off, and Chase is gonna love me for saying this, Fast and Furious presents Hobbs and Shaw.
That's not the title. That is not the title. It's Hobbs and Shaw. That's what I'm calling it.
I just want to let everybody know that this is the way that I torture Chase. It's referring it to this way. Of course, this is a needless spin-off that follows a character that we barely know and another one that the series has decided is suddenly a hero. And it stars Dwayne Johnson and Jason Statham fighting up against, I guess, an
Black Superman.
Like a. There we go. Thank you. Of course, that's the kind of like nonsense that I've wanted this series to grasp. I wanted them to just go full sci-fi, which sounds like what they're doing. All right, so then the other movie comes out on August 30th, and that is Playmobil the movie. And yes, if y'all have ever heard of the building toy Playmobil, yes, this is an adaptation of, or not an adaptation, but kind of bringing those to life. And it's an English-French production. It's got a really weird cast that has both Wendy McLennan-Covey and Kenan Thompson, Anya Taylor-Joy and Daniel Radcliffe, Meghan Trainor and Adam Lambert. It's a really weird cast. The premise is Marla is forced to abandon her carefully structured life to embark on an epic journey to find her younger brother Charlie, who has disappeared into the vast and wondrous animated world of Playmobil toys. I'm just going to go out and say I don't care. I don't care about either of these in any particular way. I mean, certainly Hobbs and Shaw sounds silly enough that it might be a bit of fun, but I don't like the series. Playmobil was another situation on that same show of Graham Norton. I didn't watch the whole show all in a row, I don't think, unless maybe I did. But Daniel Radcliffe introduced a clip, and once again, people were chuckling. They weren't laughing, though. There wasn't a whole lot of laughter, but people were chuckling, and Radcliffe seemed to be having a good time promoting it, and I was sitting there stony-faced. It doesn't look at all like my kind of thing. It's just another situation. I mean, I don't even know if I'm going to see it. We'll see. Chase, you and I know that our friend Mark is probably going to be one of the only critics who actually does.
That's probably true.
Knowing him. So of these two, by a hair, probably Hobbs and Shaw because because it sounds sillier. So I already know that Chase is going with Playmobil. So Terrence, Terrence, go ahead and give us your choice.
Yeah, I'm going with Fast and Furious presents Hobbs and Shaw.
Terrence, that is not what the movie is called. I refuse to call it that.
Oh my goodness. No, I mean, honestly, Playmobil, like I have no idea what that is, honestly. It's way past my time. Or past my time. Yeah, past my time. So it's like whatever. But the Hobbs and Shaw movie, it's like, look, I saw the trailers. It looks really over the top. It's like even for me, like I'm an action guy, but even still, that's really like crazy out of the box thinking when it comes to that. type of stuff. Look, it's popcorn fun, and at this moment in time, it's like Fast and Furious has been like that. So it's like if you want something for to look, enjoy, turn your brain off for a good hour and a half, it's probably that. Playmobil, it's like whatever. So it's Hobbs and Shaw. Oh, excuse me, it's Fast and Furious presents Hobbs and Shaw. That's what I'm picking.
FNFP colon H and S. All right.
Whatever.
All right. Chase, tell us why you're looking so forward to Playmobil.
I didn't even know that existed until like 30 minutes ago. So Hobbs and Shaw is I can't wait. Like, listen, there's one film franchise that I will always just give it a pass on anything it does. This is one of them. I don't care what it does. It can get as crazy as it wants. I will just go. I mean, I can't believe they're working up to Fast and Furious 9 by next year. Like, that still blows my mind. But yeah, the trailer is absolutely insane. Like, if you thought like Fast 8 and Fast 7 were ridiculous, this takes it to a whole nother level. I don't even know how you can keep up in the ante like this, but it's it's crazy. I want to see it. I will be there opening weekend. By the way, calling it Fast and Furious presents Hobbs and Shaw is just about as alarming as saying from the producer of Fast and Furious on the Sonic the Hedgehog poster. So that's where I'm kind of at with it.
But it's trying to get you in the theater because now, of course, that sells you, Chase, on that movie.
Does not sell me. That like is like a bug spray to me.
He texted me earlier today. He's like, "Oh my gosh, I can't wait for Sonic the Hedgehog." I'm just kidding, guys.
That is not what I said.
All right. So our next weekend is very interesting because it goes in all kinds of different directions. The first one is Artemis Fowl. This one comes from Disney, actual Disney, not Fox Disney, but actual Disney. It comes from director Kenneth Branagh, and it's an adaptation of the first two novels in Owen Colfer's series. So I've read the first one. I have not read the second one. I didn't know until just now that that's what it was based on. That it was based on both of those. But on the basis of the book, I'm excited. Here's the synopsis. In order to rescue his criminal father and restore the family fortune, Artemis Fowl II and his trusted servant and bodyguard Butler seek the existence of fairies, believing that it makes a connection to his father in hopes of robbing them. It's a pretty wild book, very adventurous. The cast here is really cool. You have kind of an unknown in the title role, which is the right route. I mean, it worked for Daniel Radcliffe. And it's got Nonso Inozie. He's a really solid, like, physical actor. He's a really tough physical presence. He's been in stuff like I think he was in one of the Bourne movies, maybe, or something. Judi Dench, Josh Gad, Hong Chow. Hong Chow's from Downsizing, I believe, right? Yeah, she was in Downsizing. She had a small role in Inherent Vice. And I'm looking forward to this. I'm going to have to see more. I only saw that trailer. I guess I'm not going to be watching the trailer, but we'll have to see. The next one is A Curious Thing Indeed, and this is called The Kitchen. Now, it stars Melissa McCarthy, Tiffany Haddish, and Elizabeth Moss. But it is not a comedy, as that might at least two-thirds suggest. It is a drama about the wives of Irish mobsters who take over organized crime operations in 1970s New York, particularly the Hell Kitchen, after the FBI arrests their husbands. So it's sort of like Widows-y in a way. And it's got a really excellent cast outside of those three, including Common, Donald Gleason, Margot Martindale, Bill Camp, Alicia Coppola, Brian Darcy James, James Badge Dale. I mean, this is insane. I can't wait for this. All right. So then we have Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark. Of course, this is a horror film based on a book series. So it's going to be kind of maybe anthological in nature. We'll see. But in any case, I'm a huge fan of the book. It's kind of amazingly scary in very, very palpable ways. I'm looking at it right now on my shelf. I still have it after all these years. It was one actually that my dad bought before I was born, I think. and I read it obsessively, loved it. And the final movie is one that's been coming for a while. It's been on the books for at least a year, and it's Where'd You Go, Bernadette? This one is the new film from director Richard Linklater, and it stars Cate Blanchett as Bernadette, who hates people. She hates leaving the house, and more than anything, she hates the other parents at her daughter Bee's school. When she disappears, it's Bee's mission to find out where she disappeared to and what really happened to her. Bee is played by Emma Nelson. And no, that does not mean that the character from Degrassi suddenly came to life. Thank you, Terence. It's also got Billy Crudup, Kristen Wiig, Judy Greer, Corian Belisario. Really good cast. Lawrence Fishburne's in it, but we don't know who he plays. I've been looking forward to this one for a while. I can't wait for it to come out, and it's coming out this particular weekend. So, honestly, though, my choice here is going to be The Kitchen, just because it sounds like it can't miss. A crime drama with a really unusual cast like this at the forefront of it is unmissable, and I can't wait to see what director Andrea Berloff. So this is a mob movie directed by a woman. Berloff co-wrote the screenplay for Straight Outta Compton. She also wrote World Trade Center for Oliver Stone, and some other stuff. So I'm really, really looking forward to this. I can't wait for that. So, so that's my choice is The Kitchen. Now, Terrence, where are you going with this one?
Like, this is honestly a solid weekend for movies. Like Artemis Fowl, I think I remember seeing a trailer for it, and I think liking it. The Kitchen, I remember hearing a lot about it too. It's like when you got Melissa McCarthy, Tiffany Haddish, Elizabeth Moss. It's a good cast, and it's a crime drama thriller. Like, I kind of intrigued by that. But Scary Stories You Tell in the Dark is pretty. I saw a couple of teaser trailers for it, and it's really, really scary. Even through the trailers. So imagine the movie. But my bet, I'm gonna go with Where You Go, Bernadette, because whenever a director that I like comes out with a particular movie, I'm always inclined to go with it. Richard Linklater, ever since Boyhood, I've been not on his radar, but he's been on my radar. But even before that, he's always make good movies. Even Last Flags Flying, I really like. I know a lot of people didn't particularly care for it as much, but I really enjoyed that movie. In this movie, he's not really solely solely writing it. I do like Michael H. Weber because he did The Spectacular Now. So, and you got Cate Blanchett in it, and she's always a great actress too. So I'm kind of going with that one because whenever I like a director, I kind of go with them. So I'm gonna go with that weekend just to be different.
Okay. All right. So Chase, what about you?
The Kitchen. I've been looking forward to that one. Whoops. My pop filter fell off. The Kitchen. It just, everything about it, when you look at the cast, whether it be Tiffany Haddish, Elizabeth Moss, Donald Gleason, Melissa McCarthy, I mean, this thing is going to blow everything out of the water. I think it's going to blow everyone's expectations because a lot of people do not like Melissa McCarthy. A lot of people do not like Tiffany Haddish. And I think if you can throw both of those ladies in a movie like this, it's going to be more of a crime drama thriller. Dude, sign me up. That's what I want to see. So that's the winner for me for the weekend. As far as like everything else, Artemis Fowl. The trailer didn't really do anything for me, but Kenneth Branagh is, he's a great director, so I'll give it a shot. And then Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark. I've been looking forward to that one since I was a kid. If anyone that grew up in the 90s and went to elementary school and had a book fair, you knew what these books were, and I am super stoked about that. And when you have Del Toro behind it as a producer, and really kind of spearheading that, because that seems totally up his alley. Yeah, oh man, it's tough to pick. The Kitchen's number one for me. Then I go Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark, and then Where'd You Go, Bernadette? I will watch anything that Linklater touches. He is a Texas native, and I like his films, and this one looks fine. It doesn't look like anything that goes like, wow, like this is another Boyhood or Dazed and Confused or, or any of his other experimental films that he does. It's like, no, it looks like a straightforward movie. It doesn't look like anything, kind of like out of his wheelhouse, but like it looks fine. But I agree with Terrence. The addition of Weber and Newstatter,
Yeah, Newstatter. Yeah.
yeah, with the addition of those two gentlemen, because it's written by like 7 different people, but with those two plus Linklater plus the miscellaneous, you have those two that did Spectacular Now and The Fault in Our Stars are really good, screenplay writers. So it's tough. I'm going Kitchen, Scary Stories, and then Bernadette.
All right. Yeah. On the topic of Weber and Newstatter, they once upon a time they wrote the Pink Panther 2, and we've come a long way. All right. So this next week is one of those split weeks. There's a Wednesday release, and then there's a couple of Friday releases I'm going to talk about. So the Wednesday release is called Blinded by the Light. Now, this one is inspired by a journalist named Sarfraz Manzoor, and his name has been changed for the movie to Javed. He's played in the film by Vivek Kalra. Now, I'm saying a bunch of names that nobody knows, but the director is Gurinder Chadha. She was the one who – she just recently did a movie that was kind of minor for me, and that was Viceroy's House with Hugh Bonneville, Gillian Anderson. But she directed 2 really wonderful movies, and if people haven't seen these, they should really, really check them out. Bend It Like Beckham, which was an early role for Keira Knightley, and Parminder Nagra, Jonathan Rhys-Meyers, Archie Panjabi from The Good Wife. Really fantastic movie. And then one that I liked even more, and is probably somewhere right outside my top 10 of this particular year, 2005, was a movie called Bride and Prejudice. Not Pride and Prejudice, but Bride and Prejudice, which was a Bollywood-themed, or Bollywood-style, I should say, adaptation of Pride and Prejudice that was absolutely wonderful back to front. It had Aishwarya Rai kind of in the kind of heat of her popularity as kind of this starlet over in India. One of the most, I think at that point had been voted the most beautiful woman in the world. It's also got Martin Henderson in it, a really solid actor. I'm telling you, people see that movie. It's fantastic. She's got this new one out. Now, this is a really cool little story. It's inspired by this journalist who was obsessed with Bruce Springsteen. And I believe that he went on to like meet him or something happened there where he was just extremely a fan of his, and something happened there. So interesting little story. Could be another winner for Chadha. Can't wait to see how that turns out. Next is obviously all of our most anticipated movie of the entire summer, and that's Angry Birds 2. I'm kidding, guys. This one is a sequel to the 20. You know what? Whatever. It's Angry Birds 2. It's got Harrison Ford or somebody in there. No, he might be in Secret Life of Pets 2. I'm trying to see if Sean Penn's back. He was in the first one. Nope, he is not listed here. Anyway, who cares about that? It's a continuation of a movie that was terrible. And Good Boys. This is the sort of super bad kind of comedy. I accidentally saw the trailer for this, so I've seen this trailer. It looks really funny, and it's got Jacob Tremblay and Will Forte. It's about a bunch of kids, kind of just trying to figure out how to kiss or something, right? So, whatever. My pick is probably Blinded by the Light, just because I think that's a really interesting little movie. It's also got Haley Atwell in it, straight off of Endgame. So, anyway, that's my choice. I, for some reason, don't expect either of you to choose that for some reason, but yeah. What are y'all going with? What are you going with, Terrence?
I'm gonna go with Good Boys just by default because I have a thing with sequels that I didn't see the first one for, so I usually skip it unless I see the first one. But apparently, it's not a good movie to go see, so whatever. Um, Good Boys. I really didn't care for the trailer per se. I didn't think it was funny. It does have that raunchiness to it. It does remind me of Superbad to a degree, but the trailers did not make me laugh a bit. Um, I like Jacob Tremblay, and that's the only person I pretty much know in this movie. I think the other kids are not unknowns, but they come from like so
tiny roles or whatever.
tiny roles or whatever. Yeah, so it's like, ugh. By default, I'm gonna go with Good Boys just because that's the only one the trailer that I remotely saw that it was okay. The Informer, I mean, I know it's probably up there, but it's one of those minor ones. But even that.
Well, I don't even know if that's coming out honestly because it's been delayed like 5 times. It was supposed to come out I think last year at one point. I don't know. It was called something else. That's why I didn't want to bring it up.
Never mind.
It's one of those just ever delayed things that whatever.
So
what about you?
Is Good Boys by default. So
okay. So Chase, are you going with the same one?
Yeah, I mean, you pretty much have to go with that by default. And, I will appreciate, I will give them a chance. I will pretty much be open to anything that Evan and Seth want to, like, put their names on or produce or write and direct, whatever. But there's something about the Good Boys trailer that I just didn't really care for. It's they didn't write and direct it, but they produced it, and it's from their production company. It just didn't really work for me. I don't mind Jacob Tremblay and all the other younger actors, cursing up a storm. I have no issue with that, or even saying, some pretty crude or sexual things. It just didn't strike me as a good comedy, and they were really kind of pushing that super bad angle, younger, dirtier, and just foul-mouthed. Like, maybe I'll be surprised when the movie comes out, but for right now, I'm going to say that it's not looking good. And when you have the team behind, I believe it was Year One, I kind of tend to want to stay away from comedies touched by them. So, yeah. But that is definitely it. But, I mean, given some of their credits, they did do some of the work on The Office and everything, but everyone's got some some really bad spots in their career. I just wait, hold on, is these I'm pretty sure these are the same guys that did Year One. I know they did like Bad Teacher and stuff, so they've done some like other comedies. I could be thinking of 2 different people, but I could have sworn they were the ones behind Year One.
Let's see. So, Year One was directed by Harold Ramis.
Oh,
but it was co-written by Stupnitsky and Eisenberg.
That's what I thought. I was like, they had been involved.
And then they wrote Bad Teacher. They also wrote a screenplay for Ghostbusters 3. But it hasn't been produced yet. Anyway, so
right,
and then they did a bunch of Office episodes.
Right, so they're kind of a hit and miss situation. So we'll see. And then of course the Angry Birds movie too. And then I've never even heard of Blinded by the Light. But what's really funny is that while we've been kind of going, I know we still have one more weekend, but just kind of seeing all the movies coming out. Each weekend, I'm kind of like realizing as soon as Pikachu starts in May, Warner Brothers has got like some heavy hitters coming out each month, and like they're just kind of like they were quiet for like the first 5 months, and now they're just going to come and strike during the summer. So I just find that interesting as we keep going down the list.
Yeah, they skipped July, but other than that, it's pretty much they've got a bunch
in Columbia. I'm telling you right now, Sony. We give them a lot of flack, which is rightfully so, but they're going to dominate July with Far From Home and Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. They're going to crush in July, but that's separate conversation. But yes, I will have to go with Good Boys as default.
All right, this next one has honestly a default thing for me too. I'm only covering 2 of these. So the top one is Angel Has Fallen, and this is the 3rd movie in what is apparently actually being called the Has Fallen series. But this one, of course, follows up Olympus Has Fallen, in which terrorists tried to infiltrate the White House, and then London Has Fallen, in which terrorists tried to take down whatever it was in London. I guess 10 Downing Lane or whatever, some sort of something. I can't remember that movie very well. These haven't been very good movies to me. I'm not a fan. They've been ugly and kind of overtly violent in a way that I think is kind of disgusting. So I'm not excited for this. The other one though sounds interesting. I haven't seen a trailer or anything or heard about it other than this. It's called Official Secrets, and it stars Keira Knightley and Matt Smith and Matthew Good and Ralph Fiennes. Okay, I should probably just not have said "and" in between all of their names. But this one tells the story of Catherine Gunn, who exposed an illegal spying operation, and it's set, I guess in London. I don't know, but anyway, it's from a director named Gavin Hood, who. Okay, he's kind of been all over the place, but he's gotten back on his feet. He had a movie that was really well received back in 2005 called Tsotsi, which won, I think won the Academy Award for Best Foreign Language Film. Then he was hired on to do Rendition with Reese Witherspoon or whoever was in that. Reese Witherspoon, Jake Gyllenhaal. I haven't seen that. I've heard middling things, but then he kind of got himself in hot water creatively when he took on X-Men Origins Wolverine. Not a good movie. And then he did Ender's Game. Whatever. Didn't do well. But then he did Eye in the Sky with Helen Mirren. Is that kind of chamber thriller about some drone operators that had her. It was Alan Rickman's final on-screen role, I think. Had Barkhad Abdi, Aaron Paul, Ian Glenn from Game of Thrones. Good movie, very suspenseful. Definitely bounced back from some years of creative flailing. And now he has this, which seems to be sort of in that vein of more in the vein of Eye in the Sky in terms of just kind of smaller, based in suspense more than anything else. I think that sounds really interesting. It's another Sundance movie, and it comes from IFC. So we're definitely going to get a screener for this one, probably. Okay, maybe not definitely. Definitely and probably don't go together. But by default, that's my choice. I just couldn't care less about Angel Has Fallen. So what about you, Terrence?
You know what? I'll be really honest with you, too. Like, I'm like Chase to the degree with the other movie. With Angel Has Fallen, I didn't even know they were coming out with a third one, honestly, until just like today. Just like 10 minutes ago. So, and you know the ironic thing about it, that's gonna be my default. So, because Official Secrets I haven't particularly heard of, if anything. I kind of like the Fallen series. The first one was okay, cheesy, whatever. The second one kind of reminded me of Die Hard, to a degree.
Well, they're essentially remakes of Die Hard.
Pretty much. Yeah,
it's
I guess
White House Down's the one that should have had a sequel to me, but because I like that exponentially more than Olympus Has Fallen. So that's just me, and I'm right.
But by all means, let me not say anything else. No, but
all right, let's move.
So that's it. End of discussion. Jason, Joe, you're good. You're good. I have nothing else to say. You're good.
Chase, what about you?
I'm gonna say something controversial.
Oh.
I mean, I'm kind of with Terrence, where like I don't know anything about this Official Secrets movie, so I kind of have to go with the other one just because I've seen the other two. And I'm not saying I'm looking forward to it, but I will admit that I had never seen the first one, like Olympus Has Fallen, but I kind of enjoyed London Has Fallen in a weird way. It was a messy movie, but it was fun. I mean, I don't know why people, crapped on the movie as much as they did, but I mean, if they're going to make a third one, sure, they're cheap enough. Yeah, I'm sure. Why not? Until I can actually see a trailer or something for Official Secrets, I'll go with the one that I have more knowledge about. And maybe it'll be good, maybe it won't. Who knows? But yeah, I'll go with The Angel Has Fallen.
You all disappoint me. All right, so I'm kidding. This is kind of a weak month, so pretty much by far I'm going with The Kitchen.
Yeah.
For this month, I'm most interested in seeing that. I really, yeah. Everything else, it's a weak month to me. So Chase obviously is going with Hobbs and Shaw. Just kidding.
No, Joel. No,
All right, Terrence.
I really do hope that The Kitchen is like the breakout hit of the month.
Yeah, that's what I hope too. Terrence, what about you?
I'm gonna go with Where'd You Go, Bernadette.
All right. So Chase, you picked John Wick for May.
Yes.
You picked Last Black Man in San Francisco for June.
Yes.
Once Upon a Time in Hollywood for July, and The Kitchen for August. So I think that you actually already said this, but is your pick, your most anticipated pick, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood?
I mean, I kind of have to. If I had to whittle it down from the whole summer, I think the one that actually is going to be on most people's list and is probably going to surprise a lot of people and is probably going to be surprised box office wise, I'm going to go with that one.
Yeah. Terrence, are you also going with that one, or are you surprising everybody with something else?
Oh, I'm stuck between the two, between that and Godzilla, but you know what? It's Tarantino. I'm gonna go with that.
I am too. Definitely. It just sounds so good. I can't wait. And yeah. So I guess if I were to rank them, if we want to rank them, like in terms of our picks for each month, it would probably be The Kitchen at number 4 for me, then The Dead Don't Die, then Godzilla, then Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Yeah. In terms of 4-1.
Gotcha.
So anyway, sounds like we're definitely all in agreement about that one. So, all right, folks, that is it. There's no more weeks. So I guess that leaves us to kind of send out the episode next week. We're giving you a little bit more time in between this episode and the next, about a week and a half, little time to breathe. Because, of course, we just had only a 2-day break, 3-day break between this and the last one. So going to give you a little bit of a longer break. I wanted to get this out before the weekend came. And, that way we could still talk about this coming weekend. And this was the only night that that Chase was available, first of all. And then that I was available in relation to that. So next week we are reviewing, Chase and I are reviewing Pokemon Detective Pikachu. And we are also going to be bringing back our top 5s that we've been doing occasionally to talk about the best films of 2012. This is entering some unknown territory for listeners because you guys maybe have some idea, I don't know, but maybe some idea of what Chase likes from 2012, but maybe not a whole big idea. So this will be fun. And also you'll get to hear my choices, and mine are pretty strange. I have I think an unorthodox list that year, so I'm excited to share that with y'all. And until then, I guess Chase. Well, first, I guess no, Terrence. Where can people find you online?
You can find me on Twitter at Mr. TPJ. You can also find me on Letterboxd under my name, Terence Page. And if you want to friend me on Facebook, because I'm a very lonely person, you can friend me on Facebook at Terence Page.
All right. If you want to find me, you can find my writing at joelonfilm.com. You can find me on Twitter at RealJoelCopling and on Letterboxd at JCopling. You can probably just search my name too, though. If you want to friend me on Facebook, don't. That's really weird. Stop stalking me. I'm kidding. Yeah, that's where I am. Chase, what about you, sir?
Yeah, if you guys want to follow me on Twitter, it's at RealChaseLee. If you guys want to follow the podcast on Twitter, it's at RealMeAndPodcast. And, of course, for this show, most importantly, if you want to, like, share, subscribe, all that stuff. Whether you're listening on CastBox, iHeartRadio, iTunes, Spotify, all that good stuff, we would really appreciate it. And of course, look out for more mini reviews. This week I had 3 of them that are dropping, plus this episode, so you guys got a bunch of content to kind of sift through. But this has been episode 275, boys. It's been quite a journey. It is always fun to do. Terence, thank you for coming on once again. And of course, you're always welcome back. And of course, we always have our Oscar coverage and stuff. But we'll hit you up. Maybe we could do the John Wick episode if you're free.
Ooh, for sure. And I'm always glad to be a part of these podcasts. I love talking about movies with you guys too. So it's like I'm kind of like the big fish in a small pond in my real life. So it's good to talk about fellow movies with fellow film fans alike. So
yeah, we really love having you. You're
better than Brian.
You're a fun personality to have on the show.
Don't tell Brian.
Well, thank you.
But you're better than Brian. Like Brian Sudfield, that guy, like the Brian Sudfield. You were better than Brian Sudfield. Brian Sudfield's probably listening.
Secret, but I think he may hear this episode. So,
you realize he's going to listen to this, right? And he's going to get 2.5 hours in. He's just like, man, I really like this episode. And then we just like totally diss him. He's like, I'm unsubscribing now.
Terrence Page, then a greater than sign, then Brian Sudfield.
That made it even worse the way you just spelled that out.
We love you, Brian, if you're listening out there.
Good old B-Suds. He's one of the best. So, so this is episode 275, guys. Let us know all your thoughts down below. Message us. Do whatever you guys need to do. We will always respond. And then, of course, for the next time, Pokemon Detective Pikachu for episode 276. Gonna be a lot of fun. That is Joel. That is Terrence. I am Chase. And hope you guys have a good night, good day, or whenever the heck you're listening to this thing. You guys are awesome. Stay cool. Bye-bye.
Bye.